ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new podcast called Fully Immersed. This is a themed entertainment podcast where we are talking about everything immersive arts and themed attractions, theme parks, exhibits, anything you can really think of. We're going to kind of explore that because we've worked in it. My name is Lain Calder. I am joined here by my co-hosts Spencer Bennett and Tobias Lerman Matante. Guys, hello.
What's up?
Hello.
So we, elephant in the room. First off, myself and Spencer had a podcast formerly a couple years ago, ran for 2 years, I think, called Disney Deconstructed. And there we had another co-host with us, Jake Moody, and we talked about pretty much similar to this, but also film, TV, etc., everything Disney related. And we enjoyed our time there, but definitely felt hampered by the end of it by having to stick to the topic of Disney. I think that's safe to say, Spencer. And really, this podcast was a way to kind of approach it from a new angle and kind of see from a different perspective, where before we were essentially fanboys and looking forward to the arts that we had passion for, but also an industry that we desperately wanted to be in. And I think that now it's we wanted to talk about things from a different perspective of now we are in that industry and what this kind of looks like. So yes, that was Spencer and I's show. Toby, you were on, I believe, one or
Only
two
one.
episodes.
I think I was only on one.
Just one
Yeah.
episode of Disney Deconstructed. So we've known each other for a while. That's actually how Spencer and Toby met. And then you guys have been brosifs ever since. So
That is true.
we love each other. We're very close friends in real life. These guys are going to be in my wedding party. So
Yep.
we're really passionate about this industry, and we also just love talking about it with each other on the phone in line for Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin. Really, any situation you can think of, we love to talk about this stuff. And so that's kind of what this show is for, is just for three guys to sit around and talk about the industry that they're in. So if that sounds good to you, you're in the right place. Today, we are going to kick things off with kind of a casual, honest conversation about what immersive means. It's a word that gets thrown around quite a bit, I think, especially recently in the post 2020 world, especially with, new attractions. I feel like, we've seen those upfronts where Disney or Universal is announcing a new park, Disney more recently a new land, etc., new attractions. And like that word immersive just gets thrown around so much in those announcements. It's really like it's like a buzzword or eye candy almost, I feel like. And what is that? Like what when you ask yourself, what does immersive actually mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, it's weird because the term immersive has kind of also stepped away from just the theme park industry. It was fun to mention that within the Disney and Universal space, but I think it's everywhere now. I mean, how many immersive, insert random artist here. Uh insert random royalty-free artist we can use.
No.
Experiences have you seen or anything that, this is immersive or that's immersive, and it just kind of like I think it just confuses the audience cuz like I am worried now that, for example, on the non-theme park side, I feel like people see the word immersive and immediately think projection mapping for some reason,
Mhm.
because they're the ones who have
Yeah.
kind of hijacked that term the most.
It's
And I
gotten
mean,
so connected to that Van Gogh production. Like
yeah,
every time you say the word immersive, at least in like my experiences, they'll always say, "Oh, like Van Gogh?"
oh my god, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, "No, but that's fine."
How many times have we tried to explain that to a family member? Like, what do you
Yeah.
do? And they're just like, "Oh, so like the Van Goghs," and I hate hearing that. I'm like,
Which
"No, we
I
don't just put images
is
on a
that
screen, dude."
yeah,
Yeah,
is
I mean,
that
there's
just
there's a
because
time and place for that. I mean, those are popular. They were popular for a time, but yeah, that is not what
they
this
were
is.
hot for 2, 3 years? I mean, it's and why always the Van Gogh thing? I feel like it's just because it was like the first thing that caught on.
For sure.
I mean, I remember the one in LA, and I think they had one in the Bay Area at some point that I went to, and like, yeah, they're all a little different because of the spatial availability and whatnot, but they're all the same show. And I think it
Effectively.
also, and I think that maybe, not to say that those had their time or anything, but those kind of
They
had their
had their
time.
they had their time.
For
you
No, I
know,
sure.
mean, I mean, I don't know how many of those I saw in my lifetime at this point, and it's so funny. You walk in and they're really cool for like 5 minutes. You're like, "Whoa, this is sick," and then you're so bored. Then
yeah,
you're like, "I just spent so much money to stare at a bunch of screens with no story, no context, nothing. I'm just staring at walls." And I mean, yeah. I've done the highest level of those, I think, which is Illuminarium. I'm not sure if you guys know that company. They have one in Vegas when the Area 15 complex. There's one in Atlanta.
okay, yeah,
It-
yeah,
it's basically the Van Goghs on steroids. And
Yeah.
even
right,
then, the problems I think it has are pretty much the same. Because that has like sense and like tracking, which is really cool, and the floor vibrates. But again, you're just kind of bored after a while.
right,
And we'll move into, I guess we'll talk about it later, and how that's kind of evolved over the years, I guess, to where we are now, and that tech has been utilized in more interesting ways. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, when I think of immersive myself, like I'm expecting to walk into somewhere where I will be like forget where I am. I think that's the dumbest way to
okay,
put it. It's like I am in this space, and for a second, I am completely lost in whatever it is that experience is trying to get me to do. Right. Whether it's,
yeah,
and that doesn't just go for theme parks, that can go for exhibits, and go for restaurants, and go for bars. It's like I have stepped into, you know, a world, I guess, that is not the real world. And for X amount of time, I am forgetting that I live in the unfortunate reality that is, the real world in
the real world.
2025.
In the year
Nice.
of our Lord
The year of our
2025.
Lord 2025, where everything is just peachy.
Yes, everything is
Let
wonderful.
me ask you this: is there a difference between themed entertainment and immersive
I
events
think
or entertainment, or is it just are these just interchangeable
that's
words?
such a good question. I don't know, because I mean, I feel like when you think of themed entertainment, your brain just automatically goes to theme parks, and
Yeah,
maybe people who, especially people who don't work in the industry, probably they're like, yeah, that's theme parks. And it's like, they're very similar. I think, though, something can be themed entertainment without being immersive.
Sure.
okay,
Um,
yeah,
and I think vice versa. I think you can have something immersive that isn't necessarily themed entertainment. And I have some examples we'll talk about later. Um,
Six
but
Flags is themed entertainment, but not necessarily immersive. Is my thought.
Sure.
No, I mean there's plenty of, but the more interesting one to me is things that are immersive without necessarily being in the themed entertainment landscape, or
Okay,
kind of being a themed entertainment landscape, but they're not quite what you expect out of themed entertainment. And again, I would love to talk about these things later, but they are existing, and they are a fairly new trend. I feel like I've seen these are like
okay.
the last 2 or 3 years this has really become popular on that end. But yeah, I don't know if they're, I don't know, Spencer. What do you think?
Immersive is a word I love and hate. It's kind of the backbone of what we all three of us do for a living and what we're
Yeah,
passionate about, but it also, as we've kind of briefly touched on in the beginning, is so intertwined with a specific type of show now that it's far less exciting to bring that word up to people. Because people be
okay,
like, "Oh, like if
yeah,
I say, I work in an immersive exhibits," the immediate question, as we already hit, is, "Oh, like Van Gogh," and it's like some of that. And I think all of that originated with projection mapping, like high end
yeah,
projection mapping, which
yeah,
started in theme parks, as a lot of this does, It starts as kind of a new cutting edge thing, whether from WDI, Creative, Merlin, all of the above. And then it kind of becomes consumer grade. And then you have kind of where a lot of these smaller companies that we mix with will use that and create something that's a little smaller scale, less budget, and try to kind of
Oh
replicate
my
that
god,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing. I
Yeah, for
mean,
sure.
and that's something that I
Yeah.
really want to focus on, and I kind of think is a big catalyst behind this podcast on my end is like you no longer are limited to a Universal, a Disney, and a Cedar Fair. Not really, but or a
Six
theme
Flags
park.
now.
Yeah, whatever there is, a theme park experience to
Yeah.
experience this kind of entertainment. The tech has gotten so good and is now so affordable. And I mean, like you said, within the consumer grade, that now this is, expanded. And I mean, you could, go back to the 90s and talk about like the Rainforest Cafe and all
Chuck E.
that stuff
Cheese,
I
and
was
Chuck
yeah.
E.
literally
Cheese and
thinking Rainforest Cafe
Yeah,
earlier.
for
yeah,
sure.
that's still a pretty significant investment back then. Like
For sure.
Yeah.
you still had to do, and now it's like you don't really need that. Now if you like if you can literally just get a few projectors, create some media and map it, and there you go. You slap immersive on it, which is that double-edged sword. Like I'm so excited that like we don't have to just work for WDI
Yeah.
or a
Sure.
studio that works with WDI or works with Universal Creative to do this. But at the same time, it's like now because you're getting a lot of bad players and people who do this purely for the financial reason because it is cheap and people will just want to be entertained and experiential entertainment always, works that we're getting, the bad stuff out there, the
I
stuff
think
that is
Sure.
we, yeah.
damaging.
What
Yeah,
was
that's
once safeguarded, gate kept, whatever word you want to use, that doesn't have like an actual negative connotation, by the big hitters, now is sort of being mixed in with like the carnival world. In not like not even in a negative way, but in a like people making a quick buck, right? People like, oh, we can spend this much money and get 3 awesome projectors, and we could buy some Bluetooth speakers from Target, and we can. I mean, this is like very bare bones. Obviously, this is not actually what happens, but like, and we can just open something and charge $20 a pop and pretend you're in the rainforest, right? Like, there's elements of where that can happen, and I think that you're seeing that as a broad spectrum now. For instance, like
Yeah.
when my partner went to school in Chicago and got her master in arts, and there was like a Prince immersive that came through, and I was like, "What does that even mean?" And the answer is Prince music videos on the wall, right? And that's
Right.
but someone will get something out of that, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But I
And
think like, oh, sorry, go
sometimes
ahead.
I feel like there's a few more, and we're not trying to say it's all projections and
Mm-mm.
everything. And cuz there are things like, I mean, I had a coworker that went to the Titanic immersive exhibit like a couple weeks ago that just opened here in Denver. Who does that one, Spencer?
I think it's Imagine.
Imagine. I think it is. And she had a good time. It's, in my opinion, it's mostly like photo oppy type stuff, if I'm
oh yeah.
being honest. Like you're definitely getting a historical experience and whatever, but I do think that a lot of it is definitely photo interaction based, which
Hmm.
granted a lot of what we do these days is, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the haunted houses I work on are all photo ops, because we do, photo booths and stuff like at the end, and you're allowed to buy one. So like
Hmm.
it's definitely a good way to generate both media and revenue, but you're still getting an experience there, and that's something that I want to say doesn't use too many uh projection mapping and you know I guess, for lack of a better term, like quick fix tech. Uh, and it kind of, I feel like, varies by experience. I think that there are things like that that clearly have a budget attached to them, but then there's also stuff where, and really this kind of goes for any industry, you're going to have folks that try to, you know, make a quick buck.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like, sorry to cut you off, Toby. I heard you.
No.
Okay.
Prepping the
Yeah, yeah.
response.
I was like, oh, here he comes. I think that you're talk about Lane's background. Lane is, works for one of the biggest haunted house companies in the world. And I'll let him divulge that if he feels like it. But they,
Thanks, Spence. I
yeah,
appreciate the
yeah,
shout
yeah,
out, buddy.
yeah, for sure. Haunts, right? Haunts are one of the most like tried and true pieces of themed immersive. And if we're gonna keep on immersive, right? The idea behind a haunt is you are in a space where you hit on Toby, like immersive is like I'm somewhere where I'm thinking about nothing else, right? Like I have ADHD. I'm fairly certain that you do as well.
Oh, I know I
Um,
do.
yeah,
I don't
and like
I don't know what
so,
you
like
guys are
when
talking about. I have never gotten any sort of whiff of that from you two.
yeah, I don't know. It's news to you. But when you're like, if I can go someplace and be locked into a moment, to me, that's immersive. And so a haunt is like the most tried and true, old, reliable of this industry because you can build a fucking pardon my French, kick ass haunt with
Hey,
some,
hey, there's gonna be cursing in the
yeah, it's
show.
going to happen. I
You
Oh
apologize
yeah,
to,
yeah, we should have
to,
you can
mentioned
do
that.
that.
to the children listening to this.
I'm
Um,
sure all children who are having a great time who found
You
yeah.
this,
know what?
yeah, they're
Um,
having a
But
blast.
you can make an awesome haunt with some wood that you can spray paint black and some very easy decor. And like if you get your hands on a projector, it just leaps up like levels of
Yeah.
technology. But that's what this industry is, right? And so I think like if you're in that space in a haunt and you're waiting for the scare, you're not thinking about anything else. You're like, I'm in this environment that they're trying to recreate. Here comes the scare. Like that's immersive. Even if it's a black wall, a la, some of the more budget cutty haunt events, you're still in that moment. And so I
And
think like,
half of Universal Studios Hollywood.
well,
But
that's
that's
Ooh,
another
shots fired,
conversation.
dude.
yeah, I was avoiding that. But yeah, I think that you can definitely just think of the touring exhibits as, oh, immersive, but like museums can be immersive. Zoos can be
Yeah,
immersive. Like
yeah.
the San Diego Zoo is like the greatest theme park in the world without
God,
rides.
it's
Oh, it's
so
It's
so
good.
good.
amazing.
It's
And
so
so
good.
like
It has
that
no right.
yeah, and like the Monterey Bay Aquarium is like one of the
Oh,
greatest
yeah.
immersive experiences of your life, and it's has zero attractions. It's not what you would think of, but it is an immersive attraction. That's what it is. It's themed entertainment. It's educational. It has other aims, but when you're walking through a polar bear exhibit at the San Diego Zoo, and there's ice like molds everywhere, and you're learning, and you're going step by step of a life cycle, and then at the end, the payoff is there's a polar bear. That is an attraction in and of itself.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like for me it's not just this umbrella term that people throw around to like what we're trying to get out of the way, which is these cheap gimmicks that
Yeah.
tour around the
Sure.
country that some of us have experience working with, have worked on, whatever.
I think all three of us have
Yeah, have
experience
experience
working
working
on
on these.
stuff
They're a
like
very
that.
like fundamental aspect of this industry right now, for sure. But it doesn't just mean that. And I think that's what
I
we're all trying to
yeah.
say at the opening of this show is this is everything. This is conventions, museums, zoos, aquariums, theme parks, fairs, Renaissance fairs. That's the entertainment. That's immersive. Like all
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
things that go around, that is what we do. That is what we
Yeah.
love.
And I think it ultimately comes down to, and this is something I talk about a lot when I'm, doing creative director work or
Mhm.
pitching a project, is it ultimately comes down to, what is the story you're trying to get across?
Exactly.
And what is it you are trying to get the guest to believe, right? The haunt, I think, was so tried and true because your goal is to scare a person and have
Right.
them be on edge, right? So like
It's not
whatever
even a
you're doing,
story, it's an emotion. You're trying to get an
it's
emotion out of
exactly,
someone.
exactly. So
It's
like
Yeah.
if you're
it's
trying,
why people watch horror movies.
Same
oh
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Like you're
But with
getting
a
that.
yeah, with a haunt, you can't mess it up. With a haunt, if you don't have that tension and somebody pops out at you, you're just like, that's some dude in a mask. Like your job is to create tension throughout this space and create this false sense of danger that
Yeah.
the person is in as they are walking through this experience, right? If it's an
That's a great
exhibition,
point. Yeah.
if it's an exhibition, for example, and you want people to learn, if you just feed them information, you're gonna zone the fuck out. Like, let's be real. How many, it's funny because I love art museums. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
do. But it's just a painting and a plaque half the time. And dude, halfway through, I am like thinking about what I had for lunch,
Yeah,
or like
anything and
whether
anything but.
anything but, because you're not in that zone. I think really good zoos is which or really good aquariums. I've always loved aquariums.
Mhm.
Is like you're so in this like nautical or like whatever theme that
It's a
you're into.
recreation of the environment of what
Yeah.
you want are there to see. So it feels like you're immersed in this ecosystem.
No.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because like even in the restaurant world, in the bar world, right? Like
For
I mean,
sure.
I live in Los Angeles. We have a lot of those things. A lot of the most
Really?
successful.
LA has bars?
Who would
No,
have thought
good
of that as
themed.
a
Good. Oh, screw
reasonable
off.
source of revenue?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
fuck
Oh,
off.
you
Fuck.
LA is like the second best place in the world for themed entertainment outside of Orlando, Florida. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
probably.
dude. Hey, don't say that shit when I just told you that a Shrek themed speakeasy is opening in Colorado
That's
Springs.
true. That's true.
But regardless, it is that thing. Like whatever it is you're going into, people have to buy in. That is ultimately what immersive is. That to me at least, it's like, and I think the mistake, and I've the amount of times I have preached this, whether when I'm pitching and trying to get an idea across or get something built, where I'm like, the tech is fantastic. I am so happy that we have this tech available now. I'm so happy that it's
Absolutely.
so easily available, but the tech is not the show,
Tech does not
right?
make a story, yeah, or a
Exactly.
show
Tech
or
does
a
not create an
feeling.
emotion or
Right.
anything. It's
Tech is
like if you
tech. It's a
just
tool.
it's a tool. It's like going to see a movie that's a CGI schlock fest, and you're like, wow, I'm bored. And it's because like it's just like looking at you, Black Adam.
That was
And
the worst movie I've ever
oh
seen, but
my
that is
god,
its own conversation.
did you see that
Please.
with me,
Bro.
Spencer?
I mean, I'm like, I no one can see this if you're not listening to the video or watching the video, but I have like a DC tattoo. Like, I read comics when I was
Yeah,
5 years old.
I
So don't
have
start me. Don't get me started on
I have
Black Adam.
I have a Black Adam plaque over
I thought
my
you were gonna
back.
say I have a Black Adam tattoo. Let's be like, let's
No, no,
talk about
no.
this.
I was working the Saturn Awards on the event production side, and
Were you
they
really?
left. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I came back. I was doing a corporate gig in Salt Lake City, a creative director gig, and then I came back and I had to help strike that show. And I remember like they had a bunch of these like Black Adam plaques. Geez, and they were just laying
Ah,
around, and I was like, "Can I take one of these?" And it's just Dwayne the Rock Johnson staring at you, and they were like, "Yeah, you can take one." And so I got it, and I come to my girlfriend. I'm like, "Look what I got," and she's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "It's Black Adam. It's Dwayne the Rock Johnson."
that's going by our bed, baby.
Not even. No, no, it's even worse. I hung it right over my toilet.
Oh my
So
god.
now whenever people have to use my bathroom and have to pee, they have to make eye contact with the plaque of Dwayne
That's
the Rock Johnson.
that's
That
terrific.
is an
That is
excellent
I
I
gotta
that's
I gotta
use.
immersive.
admit, I
That's
I would have rather
immersive, yeah.
seen
That's immersive right there.
that is immersive. I would have rather seen Madam Web than that movie, to be totally
Oh
Dude,
honest.
yeah.
I
If
saw that
Madam Web
web.
was
I had a great
funny,
time. I had a great
yeah.
time.
At least Madam Web
Anyway,
was funny, but yeah.
anyway, so back to our immersive conversation, which I totally lost the train. I don't know. I do think we're in an interesting place. And I guess we'll dive into this a little later. We can dive into it now, I guess. But like
Yeah.
Do
it's
it
tough with
now.
it's tough. Theme parks, obviously, right? Because I mean, we've entered on the theme park side, at least, we've entered the immersive war era, right? I
Mhm.
think post, and we've been in it for like probably 15 years by now since
Yeah.
Diagon since Hogsmeade opened up
Hogsmeade in
in
Orlando.
Islands of Adventure. Oh,
That is
just
a
coffee.
that is a
Oh.
good yeah, I think that
No, no,
was really
that
the
was
first
the
time
catalyst.
that was when people said like, "Oh,
This
shit,
can be something
Universal can."
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Universal can play.
Yeah, I mean they built this. I mean, it wasn't just a ride; it was an experience, right? Like, and
Yeah.
it's great because from a revenue standpoint, a theme park standpoint, like you're convincing so many people to spend so much more money because you're in world.
Mhm.
And so then I think Disney followed after that with in 2012 with
Pandora.
whatchamacallit. No, 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 before Pandora. Radiator
Really?
Springs.
Oh, yes.
With
That's I
Radiator
always forget
Springs,
about
I
Cars
should have
Land.
remembered that. We were
Yeah.
there.
No,
Cars Land,
I used
yeah.
to work in Cars Land, but that's
And so
Spencer and I were there at an opening day of Pixar
I
Pier.
yeah. Oh,
dude, I
yes.
waited 3 hours for one of the for Radiator Springs racers. But like so then
Did you
they
really?
followed up. Yeah,
Wow.
I did. I waited 3 hours.
Wow.
And so then I think I'm not sure if Diagon Alley or Pandora came first. one of those two. And so like they've just been ping ponging back and forth, right? And I will say, I think some of Disney in particular, as much as I love a lot of their stuff, lost the thread a bit more with what immersive is supposed to be. And we can talk about we'll talk about later what we think fails at immersive. And but for now, it's Galaxy's Edge, obviously, that
Sure.
I think messed up big time in
That's the
terms
hot
of
button.
totally lost the thread on what an immersive experience is supposed to be. But anyway, aside from that, um you know now Universal just opened a brand new park, right? Like
Uh-huh.
literally this week,
So
as of the
so I
recording.
I just
And
checked. Sorry to interrupt. I
oh
just
yeah, go
checked.
for it.
Wizarding World of Harry Potter opened 2010,
Uh-huh.
which
15 years ago.
seems like that feels so long ago.
Yeah, I mean, but each one of these lands takes like 5 years to build.
Build,
Actually,
yeah.
no, it takes
I mean,
Disney five
Epic
years
Universe took 5 years to
Yeah,
build,
It
and that's
takes
a whole
Disney
park.
5 years to build. It takes
yeah,
Universal 2 years to build because
yeah.
Disney is so notoriously slow for building everything. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, like
Pandora was 2017. Was Pandora?
and this immersive wars got kicked off, like and the 90s was the era of the coaster wars, and the 80s with the theme, with the coaster parks. Now it's this immersive era of, if I'm going to spend $200 at a theme park, it's got to be amazing. And I mean,
Yeah,
like, I only bringing up Epic Universe. None of us have been there yet, but we will, because it is an entire theme park dedicated to that principle.
to
Where
this word, yeah.
there is not a land or an inch that doesn't feel like a part of a bigger experience. At least,
Right.
from what I've heard. But you're seeing that even in regional parks. I mean, I'm SoCal. I'm live in SoCal. These two are also SoCal natives. I were SoCal natives growing up, or for a while,
NorCal, baby.
NorCal. But you were
Don't
here.
give
You
me
were
In and
that.
here.
Don't
out,
give me
in and
that
out,
shit.
yes.
Don't throw me in with your lot.
Regardless, Knott's Berry Farm, right,
Sure.
Yeah,
is a park that has invested so much money into the immersive space as of late because of the proximity and what it has to do. I think, this for a bit, I think the SeaWorld parks were doing it. I mean, they've really gone coaster heavy as of late, but they have some pretty impressive looking areas that they worked on. And international parks you don't even have to get to. I mean, this theme has been kicked off, and we're in this era in the theme park space now, which is who can build the biggest coaster. Maybe Six Flags now because they're broke. But who can build the best, on the high end experience? Who can really make you lose yourself? And it's really
yeah,
interesting to see that in the theme park space, because like that's just trickled out everywhere. That is everything. It
Yeah.
is crazy where we're at now. And it's exciting. I mean, that's in our industry, it's the best time. I work so many corporate gigs now because the industry is also a mess sometimes, and I gotta pay bills. And even then, the need for immersive experiences within a corporate gig
Oh, for
for
sure.
is huge. So like we're in this time now. It's just a matter of like making sure the general public doesn't just lose sight of what immersive is supposed to be or what it is. I'm afraid that maybe we're already past that threshold. Like at this point,
Yep.
it's just become the buzzword, and
Yep.
it's no longer cool. You're like, oh yeah, it's so immersive. Okay, what does that mean? So yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what that tangent was about. I'm gonna let you guys talk.
Yeah. Take a sip of water, dude. I, I Spencer and I were actually talking about this the other day, but I think that Spencer talked about how um for haunted houses, which I work in, and how with those there's a certain level probably of success just because it's related to that holiday, right? To Halloween. Just in the same way that you see a lot of those light up shows at parks and I guess what would you call those? I guess set up teardown events at
Uh-huh.
the drive through light things
Oh my
in
god,
certain
yeah.
cities. Like all of those are very notorious with Christmas. And
Yeah.
they I feel like there is a certain part of it, like you were saying, Spencer, where they will always more or less have a place because people are naturally going to celebrate that holiday. um I do think that with Halloween there's also just the horror element where that's kind of the only time where if you're a horror fan that you can live your own horror fantasy, more or less.
Uh-huh.
I think that there's not really another time of the year, save for a random Friday the 13th in a random month, that people, will have events like that. Uh, but I also feel like there is some levity to that, in that there's a difference there between, that those events are always going to be present at that specific slot of the year, of the calendar, versus those traveling exhibits which have been more or less struggling in the
Well,
probably the last year or two.
they've worn out that pocket of time where this could have turned into something special, right? Like
Sure.
you're talking about the beginning of the immersive war between the major theme parks, Toby. I mean, it all started in 1955 with Disneyland, right? Like the idea
Yeah.
that something could be more than just a roller coaster on a pier, right?
Yeah.
Which has its place now, and there's almost a pseudo nostalgia for
Oh,
that
there
theming.
totally is, dude.
But
Pixar Pier.
yeah, literally the
I
Paradise
I go
Pixar
to
Pier.
Coney Island
Yeah.
every time I'm in New York.
And
Like,
there
I
is
just
something
do.
about that now that is like fun in its own sense of immersive,
Yeah.
but this all began when something could be more than just an attraction. And even like that park had immersive elements, but it was also like kind of enclave and like different smaller like attractions. Like Jungle Cruise was like, yes, you're on a cruise in the jungle, but it's like it's just kind of more they weren't going for making something feel real and lived in.
Sure.
Right. And I think that's where
Sure.
this kind of changed with Potter, and then as we go back and forth is like this desire to escape, like fully, even to a point where you like are not even realizing it anymore. Like a great movie, when you sit down to watch a
Yeah.
movie where you're
Yeah.
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
movie that is not catching your interest in 2025, you're
You
gonna be on
know,
your phone,
you know what's
like, but
sorry, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I keep doing this. I just think about
Ah,
this. What's crazy on the theme park end though, if you think about the 90s and Disney
yeah.
Universal, they were going for the opposite of immersion. Where I'm talking
Oh yeah.
back in the studio park days,
Ride the movies.
which was like,
This is
how
a
do we
Totally
fake
is what it
movie, but
was.
get in there, like
Earlier,
ET has Steven Spielberg introing the attraction,
hey,
Steven.
don't you roast Steven
No, I'm
Spielberg.
not, but I'm saying like that
Silva.
era, there was not it was like you wanted to see behind the scenes. You didn't want to be in the
I
scenes,
mean,
Yeah.
there's a
Like
reason that 90% of Universal Studios Florida is just
still
sound
that.
stages.
Yeah,
Just
still
sound
Yeah.
that.
stages.
I mean, when you think about like when that whole war, really, that you can go down a massive YouTube wormhole on, for Universal Studios Florida and the
MGM.
the MGM studios at the time in Disney World, like when both of those were trying to come out, everything was the themed around like movie magic and like shit like that, where it's like, this is how, I mean, the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular is probably still the greatest like Florida version of that exists still, question mark. I don't, did they close
Is
that?
there
It might
No, I
be
think it's
operating
still
still.
around. I don't
Last time I was there, it was open, but
who
like that's
who
still
goes to
there. I
Hollywood Studios?
honestly, maybe the most like modern Florida version of that that's around is the the Bourne stunt show,
Yeah,
which
sure.
is
Hey.
genuinely really good.
It's really good. That is
Like,
spectacular. And I get
and
it
it
because the board spectacular.
yeah.
Anyway,
And
uh,
but the technology that they have going
For
in
sure.
that, in line with perfectly timed stunts and everything, is a very interesting modern way to do that.
what's
But
what's crazy
man,
though, dude, if you think about it, the two studio parks, which were the big rage in the 90s, are arguably the weakest parks of both
Yeah, they're like the
resorts.
black
hands
sheep right
down.
now of both
Hands
Like
resorts.
down.
Yeah.
they are the like because Universal Studios Florida really as aside of ET, which they will never touch, and if they do, I will boycott them.
And Diagon
Um,
Alley.
and Diagon Alley, why would you go to that park?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I will like gently be
Horror
like, hey,
Nights.
Men in Black is all right, but Horror Nights, right? Like that's why we go to that park every year. If I was
Yeah.
just going to Orlando yearly, I would probably not go. I'd probably just go to Islands and now
Come on,
Epic.
Men in Black is so good.
That's Men in Black's all right. Men in Black's all right. It's
Men in
like a
Black's all right. I'm
slightly
sorry,
bigger
I don't.
scale, like Astro Black. But anyway,
I would not be
um,
upset if they axe that thing, but
no,
that's
I
a
no,
hot
and
take.
and
I
they
wouldn't
should if
care.
they're gonna tear down Simpsons into Pokemon, which is the rumor. They should take over that
Anyway,
whole section of
anyway,
the park. But yeah, no, and like Yeah, that Bourne show, right? It's those new LED screens that are so
Yeah.
amazing that they use as the
Yeah.
background. And
So
is that gonna become the next like gimmick that eventually finds its way being sold to Joe Schmo, and he's opening a small scale local theater production with those screens and like cranking up
Yeah.
the prices, and you
well,
know is that where
Especially with
we're
the
gonna
rise
yes.
of
go?
like Unreal Engine and all of
Yeah,
like
sure.
which I'm like fairly I haven't looked into it much, but I'm fairly certain there's a good chance that that's how that Bourne show is done is like so
Probably.
like the physical space is built in a essentially a video game engine and then
Well,
they're playing through it.
there's
But
also the
yeah.
physical props, the mix of
Right.
physical and
Yes.
the physical and digital is what makes that so good. Which I mean,
Right.
great, use in when you are able to combine those two elements well. It's spectacular, and I'm not just talking theme park space. I'm talking in
Well,
general.
and
Um,
it makes the effect, like it makes that simulation work.
yeah, and okay, I do think we have to talk about the other big player in the immersive space that is not a theme park that has probably changed the industry,
Yeah.
which is Santa Fe's own Meow Wolf.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they
It's a good
changed the
one.
game. I think they really changed the game in immersive storytelling, because they tell stories. Each of them,
They
I've been to
do.
two of them, and there's a story to uncover there. It's not.
Have
I
you
mean,
been to the Denver one?
no, I've only done the
Oh,
Santa Fe and the Vegas one,
we'll do it
Omega
next
Mart
time you're out
and
here.
House of Eternal something. House
We'll
of
do Transversions Station, I think it
Convergence
is.
Station. Convergence
Yeah.
Station.
Convergence Station.
Yeah,
We'll do
we're
that next time you're
but
out
but
here.
I do think what they did that was so interesting. I mean, and there's people who don't do this. I've seen. I spent 5 hours at both that I went to because I'm a psychopath and I wanted to uncover every little piece of story that I could, and that makes it such a more complete experience because you are like living a choose your own adventure almost when you're
Yeah.
walking through these things, and it's I mean their storytelling is brilliant, but there's people who can just walk around and just be like, well, that's cool, and they're done in an hour. But
There's
Mhm.
I
also a sales related smart tactic to it where in
oh
order to
yeah,
get a lot of those storylines, you more or less have to have the card that you pay for, which is only like $5 or whatever.
yeah,
But that's like an easy
but
revenue source.
that's the beauty of immersive in general. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the fact that you can for studios and for theme park companies, you can do this now. I mean, how many wands did the Wizarding World of Harry Potter sell? How
Oh my
many
god,
Oh
yeah.
how
God,
much
dude.
butterbeer have they sold? I mean, it's
Think
We'll have to
great,
do
but
an
it's
that
episode
also
on like
Ollivander's show is just a way to sell wands.
yeah.
But
yeah.
it's done so well,
But
We'll
that's the
have to do
thing,
an
right?
episode on
That's
merchandising and
oh
like the
yeah.
genius of that.
Same
and
with
then Disney completely
fumbled the
tore it
bag.
off. Yeah, absolutely tore it off for the lightsaber
The
building thing. But
$150
It's
yeah.
experience.
200 something now. It's
Is it
Oh
really?
outrageous.
my
Yeah.
God, that's
Yeah, okay.
brutal. It's more
I mean,
expensive than your fucking park ticket.
it's really funny though, but I mean, there is, and Meow Wolf does it. It is one of the benefits of if you're trying to find a way to increase cash flow in an experience, if you make it in a world and make it integral to the experience, where it doesn't necessarily take away from not having that, and you can still go and not pay that upcharge and still enjoy it, but it heighten it. It works great. I mean, Nintendo with their power up bands, genius. Good on them.
Yeah.
You get to go play this game. The list go. I mean, and now Disneyland. It's for the 7th anniversary. They're doing this like key thing. It's like a $60 plastic key,
Oh
and you
my
have to
God,
go around.
literally.
You have to go around to different keyholes around the park, and then when you finally get all of them, there's a little thing that opens in the key and you get a limited edition pin, which is like, but I mean,
Gotta
it, it,
go
it
around
works.
poking
it's in
holes.
it's in universe, right? Like you're doing something that's part of the,
Yeah,
it adds to it. So yeah, from that standpoint, it really did help elevate, I guess, how you could sell merchandise. And I mean, let's not even getting to the food and beverage side of things, which is like a
oh,
whole other
dude.
thing when you go to a bar or anything. When it is in universe, I don't know why your brain is just like, I'm not paying for an
Wanting to
old
buy it.
fashioned. I'm paying for a insert random thing from fandom that everyone likes. And I mean, it's
Yeah,
look at here, Universal Studios Hollywood now with FanFest that they just
Yeah.
wrapped up. I mean, that's just Horror Nights without the horror, but it's just immersing you in the world, and you're gonna buy so much merch while you're there because
Yeah,
you're
it's basically like
there.
they filled the park with pop-up immersive exhibits, which is kind of
That's literally
fascinating.
what it is. That's
I was
literally what
reading
it is.
about it.
Yeah. And
It's
Um,
it's I
crazy.
mean, we'll definitely go really in depth into, non-ticketed forms of revenue that these parks and events make, because that's like literally what I work in. A good chunk
mhm.
of my job is based in that sort of stuff, and merchandise and photo systems and things like that. How a lot of people still buy souvenir photos, dude. It's
Yeah,
wild. Like a
something
lot of
that
people.
has been like, thought was very like 2000s, like get your picture
Yeah.
on the roller coaster
And
kind of thing. And
oh,
it's like,
and man, I mean, obviously like theme parks will always still have
sure,
the roller coaster photo,
it's a
but
souvenir, right?
and those are specialized companies that do those systems, but the the simplicity of a family oriented event and having that grandma is going to want a copy, mom is going to want a copy, like it is, and other grandpa is going to want a copy. Like it is wild how some of those more like, even for the Halloween era, side of things, like those family photos, you'll sell like 4 copies to one family. It's
Mhm.
wild. And people shell out. They'll spend
Yep.
$50 on photos. And so we'll definitely dive into a lot of that in a
We'll do
future
a
episode for
merchandising
sure.
episode really on
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think that
absolutely.
the way that the three of us have our specializations and different angles is, and yeah, we can break down merchandise, operations, which I worked in for a long time and still
Yep.
do. We can get through all that. I think to put a bow on this like very quick or very long, stretched out like but quick point. I'm gonna make
Yeah.
a quick
Was this
point
quick?
about what we've been saying. Is we're at a crossroads in this industry, right? So for so long, as we said, it's gonna be the big hitters, and then in 2020, the world ended, people couldn't travel, and this current tech became commercially available and consumer grade. And then it was okay. Now everyone can have an immersive exhibit. You're right where music was when Spotify came out. You're right when movies kind of occurred when like streaming happened. Like this is a major shift in what this world has been. That's why everyone, if you say theme entertainment, they go Disneyland. If you say immersive, they're like that thing at the store. The answer is it's both, and it's everything in between and everything outside. And
yeah.
so we are at this crossroads, and it's what's going to happen. You're going to get brilliant independent ideas like Meow Wolf, and like amazing independent films and stuff, or you get a bunch of crap that people are generating to put on a streaming service so you subscribe? Are you going to get an immersive everything because you throw as much at the wall to see what's going to stick and you try to hit every fan base possible? Like what I found fascinating about the fan fest thing is they did Star Trek. That's a Paramount property, but it's also something that is like ripe for that, right? There was a
Yeah.
Star Trek
Yeah.
Yeah.
exhibit in Vegas 20 years ago that was a huge hit because that's like immersive. People want to be in that world. It's a world you want to interact with. And I found it fascinating that that was what Universal opted to do with FanFest. That and like Back to the Future, like a property that has a fan base, but it's not like
It's not
Potter,
a
right?
it's not
It
a
That was
current
that was
franchise.
that was their most successful, I think.
right, and it's like it's more just that's a specific thing that people want to experience. I don't know. I think or like Sleep No More, right? These amazing immersive theater
Yeah.
So good.
experiences.
Yeah.
Delusion in Los Angeles, like their haunted experience that Lain has worked on in the past. Like we're at where you can have brilliant people doing brilliant things, but there's gonna be a lot of crap too. And that's sort of where we're at in this industry. And so it's hard right now to make money making the crap. It's also hard, but as a result, it's hard
It's
to make
hard to
money
make
making the
money
good
without
stuff.
making the good stuff too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
which
there's
may
so much junk. And so you're in the middle of like, there's no record labels anymore. If you're a great musical artist, you're kind of on your own. Like you're going to
Yeah.
have to figure out how to navigate marketing yourself, releasing your music, booking tours. Like to get to where you would have been in the 70s, where a whole label does that for you, is not really a thing anymore. And so for three independent people like us who work for different companies and freelance, whatever, we have a very specialized skill set in a world that is very difficult to thread the needle in at this time.
Particular set of skills.
Yeah, we're taken, right, with a
Yeah.
particular set of skills. But that's what I think we're trying to say is this is everything and it's nothing.
that's how
Wow.
you determine that. Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
I'll give you I'll give you the point there. I like the
yeah.
explanation there. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. We're in theme parks on the bigger scale now have to continue to up the ante
Hmm. Stay
to
relevant
stay
above.
relevant and
Yeah.
create these incredible worlds. some are not doing that and they're paying for it. Some are just coasting off name. I mean, it depends, but really, like, to stand out right now, I feel like you need to make something so unique and something either that is at the forefront of technology. Like, I'm talking revolutionizes things, which again, I'll get to once we're finally done with this, or you need to make the best looking or most interesting or best story you can possibly do.
Or
Otherwise,
you need to have a ulterior activity. So if it's
Yeah.
a bar with kick-ass theming, people are there to drink. The theming is what makes it better.
Nobody,
yeah.
I refuse to believe anybody in their right fucking mind went to Rainforest Cafe for the food.
Right.
Nobody ever did.
But
Like,
but you went to eat.
but
There was a
you,
thing that you went to
yeah,
go do. I think
Yeah.
what's lacking in some of these exhibits is what is the point?
Hmm.
sure.
But to take
So
pictures, like, okay,
piggybacking off that, from our fields, like, what is your recommendation then to people who maybe are starting off in the industry or like this on telling a good immersive story when maybe you don't have, even, we've had to work with what, $200,000 budgets, like not
even
like
less.
even
Yeah.
less, but like sometimes, when you're starting off, you don't even have that. So what is your recommendation to people who want to make something that feels immersive with nothing? Like,
Yeah.
what would you recommend that to go off our principle of what makes something immersive? How do you do that when you don't have the resources behind you financially?
I think, speaking from the haunted house standpoint, how many thousands of people do a haunted house in their own house every year,
I did
and
one for
and
5 years as a kid.
there you go. And exactly. And but that's what I mean is like there are low low entry ways to do this. And obviously that's not really sustainable for every aspect of this, but because themed entertainment itself is massive. I mean, you have so many different weird offshoots like interactive theater, or even the I guess even like the new Cosm stuff you could
I
even
was gonna
argue
talk
is
about them
immersive.
later. They were my
Like
talk about later. Damn it, Lane.
really.
Damn
Ha,
it, Lane.
gotcha.
They were my talk about later,
Uh,
like the people who do immersive well but aren't theme entertainment. But that's what we'll talk about.
yeah, and so that's like I
Damn it,
think of that as different. It's serving perhaps a similar audience but a different purpose. And so like the industry itself is so, when you ask, to go back to the original question of like what does immersive mean, it's like I agree with you guys that it's almost about displacement. It's about putting yourself in somewhere else. And think about how Cosm does that. They put you in, essentially, in my opinion, the theater from Soren, but like it's like with it minus the hang glider, but
would
it's a
be
similar
awesome
sort of
though.
thing.
Getting to
That
use
would
a
be
hang
kind of sick,
glider
right?
while you're watching a game, like you've had a few drinks and you've eaten some food, and then it starts
Yeah.
shaking you as someone's like running on the field, and you just puke everywhere. Great
I
time.
I I think people in general have this obsession with being fully immersed in something. Tagline to the show. But like think about 10 years ago when everybody thought that curved TVs were going to be the next thing,
Yeah.
Dude,
and that
3D
didn't
TVs.
fucking happen.
3D
3D
TVs.
3D
TVs.
TVs that all sucked. And like there's different, and now especially with the all the like the 40x theaters that are coming out now, like there's even that, in my opinion, is immersive. They're essentially doing the tough to be a bug, but like it's experience for whatever you're watching. But I there's a lot of different opportunities there for those
Yeah.
theaters. A lot of them are like existing theaters, and theaters are definitely an industry that's trying to find new ways to survive. Alamo has
Yeah.
done a pretty good job of that, but a lot of other ones have not.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of these theater chains are probably looking to technologies like 40x as a way to reinvigorate their audience.
Make more money.
So
It's a
there's
gimmick.
almost, it's
It's a
not even
gimmick.
like
I'm
you have
sorry.
to
No, it's a
start from
gimmick.
a yeah.
I
Like,
mean, I get what
who has
you're
unironically gone to who goes to a 40x not because it's funny?
Well,
Like
I
Lane
don't
is
know.
Lane is approaching it with like the best intentions, right? Like
I
someone's
am.
creating a movie with
Yeah,
this in mind, and you're
I
able to
also would never
utilize this
fucking see a
technology.
movie in 3D
Yeah,
or 4D or whatever because I wear glasses, so
right.
I would
Yeah.
never do that, but, I'm sure there's some people out there that are interested in it, but that's the thing where it's like, I don't even think that it's limited to, like, people trying to get into this industry in a new way. I think it's also businesses that have been closely affiliated with immersive entertainment and are trying to find a way to burst into what they've seen as popular in the last couple of
Mhm.
years.
yeah. Spence, what's your advice?
Yeah, I think using what you have, right? I think in the case of a lot of stuff that I've worked on with very limited budget is it's not being state of the art does not make it art, I guess is how I would sum this up, right? You can have all of the
Ooh,
greatest tech
deep.
in the world and it can still be very bland. And this is like
Yeah,
a terrible example because this was not a cheap thing at all, but I'm going to use this, right? For a while in the animation industry, the goal was lifelike, lifelike, lifelike.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now
Oh
you're
yeah,
seeing a complete turn in the other direction of stylized because you were never going to get there. And I
yeah.
think
It was
like
always gonna hit that
it was
uncanny
always going to hit
valley.
that uncanny valley, that wall. And I think you can try to make something incredibly high tech, but if you don't have the resource and the budget, it's gonna crumble under its own weight, right?
yeah.
Sure.
So I think like haunts are obviously like the easiest example of like you can just make one and do your best and it'll be fine. But I think like
Paint the walls
yeah,
black
paint the
and
walls black,
jump out at
whatever, and
people.
it'll still have some element of what you want.
And we're not saying that that's what makes a good haunted house.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think use what you have, keep your expectation. I think if you're like a young person trying to work in this industry, try to get network with these
Oh,
agencies.
and
Um, sorry,
if
go
you're
ahead.
a young person trying to get into any sort of thing that has to do with immersive or themed entertainment, there is like the mass of the industry is not those three or so big companies that jump to your mind. Like that
those
is
three
not
companies don't even do half of their own work.
They
I
don't
can
hire;
I
they
can
work
exactly.
tell
with
you that from
vendors.
personal experience.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't like a lot of that stuff is contracted. Like most of the production, actual physical production for big things that make a massive percentage of these parks' revenue, like horror nights in Orlando and Hollywood, like a lot of that, most of the actual physical stuff is done by contractors,
Well,
third party
actually,
folks.
Mhm.
so not horror nights. They are bad. They do their stuff in house. The ones that you could like, for example, Fright Fest. I know Six Flags does a lot. They outsource a lot to like RWS Global or to like I think it's like 88 Rising or something like that. It's another company, but that's correct. I just know like I know Universal in particular does a lot of stuff internally just because
what
they
what
have the
he's
resources.
what he's saying is they will farm out like
Oh yeah,
vendors
The
and
sweat work.
specialists, the sweat
yeah,
work, right? They're not
yeah,
there's a handful, and it's more than a handful,
yeah.
but there's
And
like
and
the
I know
team of
several of
artists,
them,
Oh
right?
yeah,
so like
oh yeah.
So
This. Sorry, go ahead, Spence. Finish
no,
up.
but if you want to be those 5 artists working for Universal, you're not gonna jump out of college with all three of us have a film degree or a hospitality degree or a tourism degree or whatever you want. Engineering, if you want to design coasters and attractions, like
yeah.
actual nitty gritty stuff. The best thing you can do is go to local events, local immersive things, event centers, museums, zoos, and like try to find out kind of what vendors they work with and sort of apply there and network there. Go to conventions. Comic Con, for God's sakes, is immersive sometimes. Like there's
Oh my god, I
yeah,
have seen some of the coolest. I
yeah.
remember I did this one pop up at Comic Con for Blade Runner 2049 where you would put on a VR headset, and that part I'm not a big VR guy, but like that part you would be like in the car or whatever, you would crash and you would take off the headset and the walls around you dropped and you were in the city from Blade Runner. Like you
Whoa.
it was
That's rad.
incredibly well designed, and they had characters walking around. It was amazing. I guess to put the pin on this, ultimately, I'm going to just say on my piece of advice, it comes down to story.
Mhm.
Tell a good story, man.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The difference here is And what makes immersive so difficult, I think, is the point of all of this. The point of going to this is to feel that you are the protagonist and you are the one getting to experience it. So when you are crafting a story for this, keep that in mind. It's what makes it different from, say, writing, literature or writing a screenplay or anything else. You you want to guide people as to what they can do, but you want them to feel like they are in the driver's seat. And whatever it is you're doing, understand the core emotion you're going for, whether it's scared, whether it's happy, whether it's, I don't know, whatever, I don't know, sad, and craft a story around that where the emotional beats make the people forget, you know, where they actually are. If you have two
Yeah.
big elements in that, if you have no budget but you can get two big elements, use them intelligently, space them out, use them when you need to make people keep buying into your story. So yeah, I don't know. I think we should wrap this section up because it's been an hour. So I think we should probably move on to, like, what are some of the best non-theme park immersive examples of immersive entertainment or experiential entertainment that you've seen.
Casa Bonita.
Oh
I
yeah, talk
hate
about
you.
Casa Bonita,
I
Lain.
haven't gotten to go, and I hate.
For
I want to go
for
so
these
bad.
like local specialized smaller things, we should probably explain what they are to the listener
Yeah,
who
oh,
isn't familiar.
that's true. So
Explain what Casa Bonita is, Lain.
a lot of people know.
Sure.
Tony Hawk's been there. I don't know if you knew
Okay.
that.
Well, then
Uh,
everybody knows that
yeah,
Tony Hawk's been there.
I've seen a
Tony
like,
Hawk.
but
Okay, yeah, yeah.
it's one of those things that's it's popped off with the rebrand and everything because of who bought it and all that stuff. Trey Parker and Matt Stone acquired it when it was closed around the time of COVID, and then put 40 some odd like $1 million into renovating it, and essentially it's a Mexican restaurant, but it is the Disneyland of Mexican restaurants. But it's here in Denver. It's lovely. I love it. I've been probably 5 times now since it reopened. I want to say the soft opening was probably a couple years ago now, and then like the hard open was last year, I believe, still. And then they've made, well, one thing I do respect about them a lot though is that they've made some like menu changes here and there since they've reopened. They've changed the process. So when I first went to the soft opening, you you went essentially how they used to do it in the original restaurant, but you went down essentially a cafeteria line and got your food and then went to your table. I think it was last October, so they changed it so now you order from the table, so it feels like a more premium experience. It also makes it just simpler for splitting checks and stuff. But it's a really themed out Mexican village is what it's, I think it was uh Trey Parker that said that it's it's a 70s restaurant pretending to be a late 1800s Mexican village. So it's like extremely tongue in cheek. All of the comedy is very, that this is a ploy, etc. And but it is immersive. It is a really themed out space. It is incredible. The drinks are good. And there's several different bars to explore, several different levels of the restaurant, a lot of different shows and immersive activities, and it does it all really well. So yeah, that's it's one of those local things besides Meow Wolf, which I've been to probably about the same amount of times, but those are kind of the two local ones for me that we will still constantly go to, because it's one of those situations where I think, and this is something that hasn't been touched on in this episode so far, but for me, I am much more enticed to return and give more money to a place if I feel like I haven't seen all of it. And
Oh
I
yeah,
have still can tell you guaranteed there are little corners of Casa Bonita or little rooms here and there of Meow Wolf for sure. Last time I went
dude.
there, I walked into a room and I was like, what the fuck? I've never been in this room. And like there are places like that where you discover new secrets every time. And that might just be a more of a me thing because I've also been my favorite movies are like that, where it's like every time I watch it, I notice something new. But for me personally, as a fan of this industry and somebody that works in it, those are the types of spaces that I'm attracted to. Those I want to be able to know that even though I'm paying the same amount of money I paid last time for that first time experience, now I'm coming back and know what I'm getting. I still there's still a bit of curiosity there, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Uh, I have a few that I want to call out.
Tell
Do
us.
it.
Are you gonna
Do
talk
it.
about Cosm now? Is this the
I
time?
was gonna. I want to talk about it. I do want to talk about Cosm. They're one of
Okay.
them.
Talk
I'm
about
gonna say
Explain explain
I
what that
haven't been.
is.
I have
Yeah.
not
haven't been
been,
either.
so
I haven't been either,
okay.
Oh, okay.
but I do want to respect what they've done. I mean, it's essentially and I guess this goes hand in hand with the other side of Cosm, which is the Sphere in Vegas. It's not the same company, but it's
Yeah,
very similar. It's
very
like
similar.
massive dome type screens where you can watch content that is not just theme park content, where you can actually
Okay.
watch games. And I mean, I've got to give them massive props. I mean, they essentially found a new way to change the sports industry,
Yeah.
I mean,
the
they're
sports watch.
revolutionizing
S-
concerts too.
yeah, Sphere is more concert based as far
Yeah.
as I know,
Yeah.
whereas like
Yeah, it is.
Cosm is more screen related, right?
Well, the Sphere itself is just such an all-encompassing screen. And given I've only been once,
Yeah,
so I'm still fresh off of that
sure.
that like whoa moment. And I'm sure if you just played regular content there, it might get boring. Um, but using
Yeah.
it with a concert, it does bring you into that mix of physical and digital media is fantastic. And
Okay.
Cosm is just it's a new way to watch sports essentially. And they have found a way to because those aren't themed entertainment in my opinion. There's nothing themed about Cosm. There's nothing themed about the Sphere, but they're completely immersive, right? You feel like you're at the sideline of a football game or a basketball game when you're watching a game there. At the Sphere, you feel like you're wherever, the one there right now. I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, and
I
the
was
Dead
gonna
and Company
say.
shows, yeah,
Yeah.
they have the giant wall of sound that's like huge and towering over you, like you'll never get to see. I mean, I'll never get to see the wall of sound in real life. I wasn't born, when the Dead were actually doing that. So like to me, it's like this cool thing. So they have found a very cool, way to evolution, take the next step. And I think it's a mix of both, cameras getting better and IMAX and what they've done dome
Yeah.
wise with simulators over the years and then also just the projection mapping tech and projectors getting to that resolution, that fidelity that you can do this. And then of course, broadcasting getting so much better. But those within our industry, I mean, they're incredible. What I mean, Cosm just won the sports semi. They're opening all over the country now. They're doing
Yeah.
very well, and it doesn't get boring because you're just going to see a game. Like you have gotten something that existed and used immersive entertainment or our industry to make it better, which I think is
Yeah.
what makes it so powerful. It's not just like a gimmick. It is using the
Mhm.
tech and our principles of immersive entertainment to heighten an already existent experience for a fraction of the cost in terms of consumer. Like you don't have to
Well,
pay, for courtside seats. You can go do this and get a pretty cool, pretty damn similar experience to it.
So
yeah, I
let me
think in the
ask you
case
this,
of the
Toby.
Sphere, you're bringing an immersive you're create turning something into immersive entertainment that wasn't.
Yeah.
So, like, I've
Yeah.
seen video of the Grateful Dead show, and what they do on the roof of the Sphere with the projections and the lights and the whatever, combined with the show creates something where you're in the moment and you're living some kind of fantasy whatever psychedelic experience. You're simulating a psychedelic experience for better or worse. You're immersed in
Yeah.
that, listening to the Grateful Dead. But Lane, I think I cut you off. But so I think it's both in that sense.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, Toby, do you think that I've had a lot of people theorize to me that themed entertainment is like in trouble because nobody wants to leave the house anymore. Do you think do you think that like in a post-COVID world, people are like, oh, I can just stream everything or whatever, I can do it in my place. Do you think that places like Cosm are almost like revitalizing
Yeah. I
the
mean,
need
dude,
to get out?
Dude, I mean, it's not just that. The need to get out's always there. It's the reason
Sure.
experiential marketing's taken off so much, while traditional commercial marketing spend has plummeted outside of TikTok and all that bullshit. But people want to connect. It's the reason that Minecraft movie recently had so much success, not just because of what it was, but because people could make a mess. I mean, it wasn't particularly nice, but they could have a Rocky Horror Picture Show type experience. It's
Yep.
why Rocky Horror Picture Show still running around.
Yeah.
It's what the film industry, I think, in a lot of ways fails to understand. Is like, yeah, I'm not going to just go see a movie that I can will have the same experience in a theater when I can see it at home. But if it's something that truly that going with other people, that having that communal experience will alter the overall experience that I have, people will pay money to do that. That's why you go to a bar and don't just drink at home like a sad sack of shit, you know? like
Yeah.
you want to go out with people. You want to connect and you want to share these things. It's the fun of it. Like theme parks is fun, but the other half fun of theme parks is like being with other people and sharing
Yeah.
that experience or being in a line and talking about stupid shit while you're there, you
Yeah.
know? That connection is never
We've
that.
never done that. We've never done
No, we actually just all stare at our phones the entire time and never have a single
No,
conversation.
we never talk. We never
No,
talk.
not at all, not at all.
Um,
I cannot believe the topics that Toby can just consistently keep coming up with at 1 a.m. in line for horror nights. Like how are you still coming up with shit to talk about?
this guy will just go about themed entertainment. He will
Oh, I could talk
go.
about this for
Go.
hours.
Yeah.
Just go.
No, but I do think I think the future of theme entertainment is fine. I think while
Yeah.
other industries within the entertainment world may suffer, I think theme entertainment will continue to survive as long as we don't make the same mistakes the film industry made. But even then, I don't see those mistakes being possible because connection is so important. Um, and now back to kind of getting it back to my other point. Just the other thing I wanted to call out is Raised by Wolves in San Diego. It's a speakeasy. It's by this company called Consortium Holdings. They have done
Okay.
some incredible speakeasies. The thing with that one is like, so you walk in. It's in a mall of all places. It's in a Westfield in like La Jolla, and you walk in and it's like a very expensive high end whiskey shop, and there's very like $10,000 bottles of whiskey. It's crazy. But there's this fireplace with a chess set, and you two people sit in that fireplace, and then it rotates 180 degrees, and it leads you into this
What?
like 19th
What?
century French style bar with like a stained glass ceiling. It's
Oh
incredible.
shit.
And just like that transformation scene, the
Yeah.
reveal, which is like so important in immersive entertainment, like that moment of wow, of like, wait, I'm just in a shop and now I'm back in time. And I mean, those guys have been doing that mostly in San Diego. They've been doing incredible stuff down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really impressive work. Those are like you are truly transported somewhere else. The scenic is so nice, the lighting is perfect, the drinks are curated to fit the themes. There is an exclusivity aspect to it. That
Yeah.
I am immersed when I'm in there. I've only got to do it once because it's so hard to get a spot at to. It's so busy. It's such a small space, but they have really, to me, set the gold standard of what drinking can be. Oh, what a themed or an immersive bar can be like.
Yeah.
What can drinking truly be? I like that.
Drinking is forgetting your problems. Uh, no, but just that reveal, just that moment of sitting in that chair and
Yeah.
rotating into this, and you are going
Awesome.
from a mall to France
That's
in a whole
wild.
different century is incredible. It's
Yeah.
I you know I want to see all their stuff they've made. Hats off to them. They are probably one of the most impressive people. I mean, we have some here, like Houston Brothers have been doing that in LA with they're the ones who have like Good Time at Davy Wayne's
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and No Vacancy. Good Time at Davy Wayne's like a 70s themed place. You walk
I
into a
almost
fridge.
played a show there back in the
Yeah,
day.
it's a pretty cool thing. And
Yeah.
No Vacancy is like a brothel vibe. It's really cool.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
they're telling you a story more so not in the direct sense of like a beginning, middle, end. Just get to transport you to the world with which the story takes place. And I will spend money, a lot of money when I'm there because I just
Absolutely.
want to be there longer and I want to enjoy the atmosphere. So I'll keep buying drinks. But yeah, those are my two that I've done it well.
There's a great, to kind of like add on to that same immersive bar vein. There's a great, and I apologize for forgetting the name of the company that did this in
How
case it
dare
ends up
you?
being one that's been mentioned or whatever. But there's a great bar in outside of Phoenix. I want to say it's Glendale, Arizona, called Undertow, which there's three different concepts inside. You reserve one of three. But the one that I did, you go down into their basement and you're suddenly in the undertow of a ship in
That's
like the
fantastic.
1700s, and there's portholes all along the side that have a pre-generated video in them to make it look like there's you're at sea. It's kind of got that rocking aspect, and you can see little islands go by. Everything, the lighting, storms happen every once in a while, I
That's
believe.
so
And everything feels like you're in the bowels of a pirate ship.
That's
And
awesome.
but with the theming of everything, they give you the menu's a fucking tome, I swear to God. And it's separated out. There must be 100 plus, maybe even, cocktails in this menu, and they're all separated out by different eras of sailing and piracy. So they're just like they're all based on actual drinks that were popular during that specific time period. Um and so it's like sort of almost a historical bar experience as well.
sick.
But like those sorts of things, they're very special, and we do love some themed out bars here.
For
Oh
So
my
sure.
I
god.
wanted to
I
add that.
mean,
Absolutely.
they're so good. They're getting so
Yeah.
much better. I mean,
Oh man, they're getting
God,
so
they're
good.
getting so good.
and they're
All
and
right,
they're
yeah,
honestly everywhere.
They
So
are. Oh,
yeah,
check
they're
they're
check your
everywhere.
everywhere.
backyard. There might be one.
All
So Spencer,
right,
your turn.
Spence. Yep, come on, hit us with something.
Okay. Well, I think to you guys kind of led with like, what is the future? What is something you saw that was cool, and where do you think this is going? Was a question you kind of added on, Lane.
Yeah.
I think where this is going is the specific traveling immersive blah blah blah. I think is going to die off shortly. I just don't think that you're selling something pretty much inherently on a gimmick that is being utilized better in the examples we're offering here. So like I think the future is a blend of an existing like societal like anchor, restaurants, bars, merchandise stores, like retail,
Yeah.
but using these elements to create something new basically. So I think a couple that I know of that I've thought have been really cool in like the museum space, right? So the Museum of Pop Culture is in downtown Seattle. It's like a mile from my apartment, and they have really incredibly themed exhibits, right? That you go into, and like they have a horror room, which is like horror props, but it's like very spookily lit, and you walk through kind of like a hallway that's kind of creepy, and there's like mannequins and different things, and it's kind of like setting the scene for like, yeah, what you're seeing is a museum, right? You're seeing
Yeah.
artifacts,
Is it
props,
kind of like a
whatever.
more like a does it serve like a museum purpose, or is it, cuz I've also seen like pictures of like I think it's like the Museum of Chocolate or some candy or something, where it's like kind of more like photo op
No, no, this is
based.
a
This is like
museum.
museum.
This is a
Okay.
Yeah.
museum
Interesting.
utilizing themed entertainment
Interesting. Okay.
elements. Yeah. And so like the big one they got last year, or the year before, was they were the debut of the Leica exhibit, which is
Oh,
called
that one
Cool.
is fantastic.
yeah, which is called Hidden Worlds, and it was a joint effort between Leica and I forget that company name, but a company we're all familiar with. If I
Yeah.
remember who it was, but what it is at its base level is it is a traveling artifact tour. It's a traveling prop tour. It's sets. It's like the actual figures from
Yeah.
the
Okay.
shooting, but the way that they do it, it becomes immersive. To go into the section where the Coraline sets are, you have to
Ooh.
walk through a full size Coraline tunnel. Like you're
Really?
going through the house with a little door that opens, and you come out, and the whole room looks like the Pink Palace. And yes, what you're looking at is effectively dolls and small sets and like like signage pieces and like plaques that show you like filming behind the scenes stuff,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's still creating that immersive feeling, and it's making that museum experience even better. Like the Paranorman section, right? Like they have like projected like the Paranorman zombies on the wall,
Oh, that's
and like
great.
it's awesome. Like you
That's
walk
sick.
into Blythe Hollow, which is the name of the town in the movie, and like it looks like Salem, Massachusetts, and there's projection, but you're seeing the sets. And I don't remember if you guys remember this from Disneyland years ago in the animation courtyard where they used to have the rotoscope. or whatever it's
Is
called,
that
the
in California
Xylotrope.
Adventure?
It used to be, yeah, where you
The
would see the Toy
Zoetrope,
Story,
yeah,
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 the Toy
yeah,
Story
yeah.
figures
Oh,
moving.
yeah.
That's in the
But
Academy
yeah,
Museum now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because
yeah.
when I worked there, it was in the animation building.
Yeah, they moved
Um,
it to the Academy Museum.
that
Spencer
makes
worked
sense,
for
yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, sorry to tell everyone I did work in operations for Disneyland for a while, in
Not
entertainment
a
and attractions, so
he
You had so
doesn't
much fun,
S
didn't you?
Spencer doesn't work for Disney anymore.
no, no, thank God. I would love to work for Imagineering. The park level, I'm okay.
Yes,
But,
yes.
It
that has
it
nothing to
w
do with the
it
company, that's its
was
own.
disclaimer, it was just a college gig.
It was a college gig. It was a college gig. I did not work for corporate. Um, but there's a special kind of drama that brews working in that place, but that's its own conversation. Um,
Imagine that.
but yeah, I think like the way that you're like they have one of those all Zoetrope, they have that with the paranormal characters, but it
Yeah.
works even better when you feel like you're in the town of Paranorman and you're
Yeah, of
watching this
course.
happen.
Yeah.
And so that
That's
that
cool.
museum in general does that extremely well with all their exhibits. I mean, they have a Nirvana room where you walk in and it's like torn up old posters from the 90s and smashed guitars and amps and they're
Sick.
playing the music and it like creates that it's not just as you alluded to earlier, Toby, like with art museum, it's not white walls and signage. They're
Yeah.
creating an environment where interacting with this information is better. For lack of a better term, it's better. So I think that's where we're going as a future. And then like I don't know if you guys are familiar with like camp, these like
Yeah,
themed
I know
retail
Camp.
experiences that
Yeah,
are like with they have an IP attached to them usually, like it's a
Oh,
Disney or
okay.
a Warner
yeah.
Brothers or something, Harry Potter, there was Encanto for a while. But that is also like an interesting fusion that I think works, right? It's a retail front and there's a secret door that goes in the back and there's like immersive elements for kids. There's like costumed
Yeah,
Oh.
characters and spaces like
It's
it's
like a
utilizing yeah, sorry, go ahead, Lane.
like a kiddie speakeasy type
Yeah,
thing?
exactly. It's like a
Oh,
retail speakeasy for like a children's franchise. It could
you
work for
that's
an adult
know
cool.
franchise too, but that's an
what's
interesting idea that's
crazy?
working.
What's crazy is that that's working, and meanwhile, Disney decided to turn all of their stores. Either I mean, they got rid of the retail stores,
Yeah,
like their malls, but
exactly.
then they got their theme park stores, their World of Disney stores, and made them the most boring, bland,
Why do
brick-looking.
you want them to look like Target on the inside? I used to
I
love going
don't,
into the Disney store that had the
because it
top with
was
like the
so
characters
cool.
bursting out of the
Yeah,
brick and like
yeah.
the Lego
Do they
store had the
not
giant Lego and now like when I remember the last time I was in Walt Disney World, which is 2022 I think, and I walked into their giant Disney Springs store and I was like, why does
Yeah.
it look like
Yeah.
Target in here? Like what
Really?
where is the theming? Like
Well,
and
dude, it's just
it's
bricks.
there, I'm exaggerating, but
I
it's
feel
like
like
not
I
to what
haven't
it used to be. Like I love the 90s store look from theme
yeah.
parks. Like
Which
that's why
well, it's
Marvel
funny.
Superhero Island is awesome and
There's
Islands of
just
Adventure.
Another
there's so
Yeah.
many curves in those stores,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like all the
No,
It was
loaded
like you were
it's
areas.
navigating the store.
they were
Sorry to
so
get high
fun, and
pitched,
you
but
spent more time. But it's crazy how like non-theme park companies now are doing that. And then
yes,
the daddy of all theme park companies was like, we're gonna make Target.
we're gonna go way more like commercialized. Like, I mean, not to say Disney's not. I mean, Disney is the commercial of the commercials, but I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're stripping away
That
the like sillier aspects of it. Meanwhile, a company like Camp is just doing what they did in the '90s, but now, and Disney's repartnering with them to make the Encanto one. And so
that's
it's
so
like it's
wild.
so funny, like, but it's commercial or consumer grade. That it's a consumer level Disney store is
I
what that
honestly
is.
I didn't even realize until you were just talking about that I haven't like seen a Disney store outside of Disneyland in
They
years.
don't exist anymore.
Oh,
They closed down most of
they closed
retail.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Those were so
wild.
cool back in the day too.
Yeah.
They were so
Yeah.
themed. They're like little mini theme parks. You could just go. They were
Yeah,
Used to
they were
get
awesome.
awesome. They
used
were
to get my
awesome.
Wetzel's pretzels and go in there and
Yeah,
look at
man.
all
Me
the
too.
stuff.
As a kid, I didn't
That's
buy
so
anything.
weird.
I just thought it was super cool to walk into.
Well, they had like rotating depending on what movie or whatever was coming
Yeah.
out or new
Yeah.
theme park something. They would like rotate it and theme out the store. I mean that's just like they were ahead of their time and now have like fallen behind the time. It's a very weird thing with that specific example, but
Yeah.
um I think
Thanks,
you're
Chapek.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah. That we could fire all the shots we want at that guy. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean he's
that
not around anymore, so
all that to say that was my example with campus. I think that's an
okay.
interesting
That's a great
fusion
one. That's a
and
great
that's
one.
where we're going. I don't think
Yeah.
you're going to get immersive prints, immersive Van Gogh, immersive whatever. I think that is going to slowly die down because the ticket sales are dying down. Those shows aren't doing well anymore.
Sure.
I think you need to have another you need to take another institution and blend it.
Yeah.
Museums,
Yeah.
retail, as you said, sports, concerts, Lane, food, like this is all where this is going, I
Yeah, it's
think.
Yeah.
heightening it. I think
Yeah.
it's a great
That is
thing.
dude,
Yeah, it's a
It
great
is
look at
thing.
though.
us.
It's what's we figured it out, guys. Congratulations.
Also,
All
can we
right.
just
Yeah,
give
go ahead.
props to ourselves? Can we give props to ourselves for I think each of us mentioned just talked about a different segment of themed entertainment when we were talking about local object because I talked about I mentioned Meow Wolf, but I talked about Casa Bonita, which is a restaurant. You, Toby, you talked about bars, and then Spencer, you talked about like a museum.
Yeah. That is
Yeah,
Yeah,
what this
yeah.
world is. Like
that's
you
wild.
can
Yes.
really it's very broad.
Yeah,
So
It's not just theme parks.
we're
extremely.
trying
That's
to
the
Yeah,
fun of it.
welcome all you folks into this world to understand what
They,
this is.
yeah.
yeah.
Now, on that note, let's talk about the people who do it bad. What are
Jeez.
bad
Oh shit!
examples? I have
What are bad examples?
two I can think
Oh,
of.
he
Also, the museum front.
Spencer.
Before
Spencer. He had this loaded. He had this
Yeah, oh,
I've
loaded.
he's
had this
ready.
loaded.
He's ready.
Before I get to this though, I will say I'm very excited for the Lucas Museum opening up. That looks
Really?
like
Yeah.
it looks like a spaceship. They built a
Yeah.
spaceship like that. That's anyway. That's
I have to
another
say the Walt Disney Family Museum in
so good,
is
so
really
good.
good.
That's the one in San
In
Francisco?
San
yeah,
Francisco.
I
it's
That
wanna
one's
see
insane,
it.
dude. It was
incredibly well
really good.
done.
That
All
just
right.
reminded me of that because it's next door to Lucasfilm. But
Was it Emeryville? Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah,
yeah.
but the museum, the Lucasfilm Museum, is going to be in where USC is down here.
Cool.
Oh, in
Yeah,
Discovery or
Dallas.
it's
Expo Park, whatever that's
Expo
called.
Park. Expo
Yeah.
Park. Yeah.
Oh,
All
I
right.
love that Natural
Little
History Museum
South
over there.
Central.
Things
Love
so
that.
good. Things
Yeah.
I can roast right now. Things that I think do it poorly. One, I talked about this earlier. I'm going to bring it up. Galaxy's Edge
Ooh,
just
really
missed the
going
ball
going for the
on.
throat.
I have another one too. It's
Talk
another
about
LA one.
jumping from the top rope of, like, all of these, like, what did it wrong? Toby goes, here's the one everyone talks about."
Well, I mean, I just think it's good on the it's the points everyone mentions, but
Sure,
like
yeah.
I don't think it's just that there's not characters walking around. I think it's just it was designed in a way that is so big and feels so empty that it feels like cool scenic and one very cool ride and one not so great ride, and
Yeah,
everything feels so disjointed despite being in the same place. That's the issue. Like I
yeah.
think Potter everything feels so in world, and here
Feels
everything just
alive.
yeah, here it's
So,
like
Smuggler's Run is the good one, right? That you were talking
mm,
about.
that's funny. That's funny.
I did my Jim at the office look into my webcam. I was like,
That's funny. That's
Dude,
a funny joke.
no,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
they're gonna add Mando to it, bro. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fixed.
yeah. And there goes
there
the
goes the
anytime they're
timeline and
mentioning the
any
timeline they
narrative,
try to build.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's funny because like, I've done Nintendo out here and that one despite me having a lot of reservations about the ride,
Yeah.
the land is so well done. Everything is alive. Everything feels connected. It's just like it's an experience. You're in there. In Galaxy's Edge, I'm always like, I'm here to go to Rise of the Resistance and leave. That is like
Sure.
why I walk into that land because after a while, it's like even if you have whatever it's legacy character walking around or stormtroopers, like it doesn't feel like a living place. Like Hogsmeade is so good because you walk in and every nook and cranny is living and bursting with energy, and then you walk
Yeah.
into that and like there's some cool sounds, I guess, and there's spaceships that don't move, and there's some cool tech demos for robots. Which sure, why not? Um,
Which were not there when it opened.
Oh, that
yeah,
happened
so
like
like
years later.
so like
Yeah.
that one just feels like you thought you could build
Yeah.
a very cool scenic, and you could have all the and it's funny because we're holding this is obviously at the Disney level with an IP like Star Wars, but
Right.
you have this world and you spend so much money on making it. I mean, it looks great, like visually, it's spectacular, but there's no life to it. It is such a lifeless place. It's not immersive at all. Like I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in Galaxy's Edge. Like I'm not thinking I'm in like the Star Wars universe. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here. Cool. I'm gonna
I've never
scan
really
a
thought about it
QR
that
code
way.
on my phone. I mean, like
Oh,
seriously, like when you're in Hogsmeade, right? You part of you feels like you're in the world of Potter. Like that's why I'm not on I'm in Potter. When I'm in Galaxy's Edge, I'm like I'm at Disneyland or Hollywood Studios, and I'm in this section of this theme park.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go do Rise now, and if I'm really bored, I'll do Smuggler's Run, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's my take on that one. I don't know what you guys have,
I
but
it's an interesting point because I honestly hadn't really thought about it that way. But I agree. Like it's when you think about, I don't know, like the hundreds of little tiny animatronics that Diagon Alley has scattered around,
oh my god, such a
Yeah.
good,
and
incredible
Hogsmeade, and
land.
and there's a lot of movement, and I feel like
Radiator
maybe that.
Springs.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. There's so many things in motion around you that make it feel actively lived in beyond you and the crowd that you're with. That's interesting. I like that. Spencer,
Yeah.
what's your example?
Oh, I have one more to call out before. Sorry, I
Oh,
have
Go
okay.
to.
ahead,
I
Toby.
Sorry,
Go
have
ahead.
to. I
Toby. Go
have to.
ahead.
Yeah.
The Academy Museum.
Oh, I haven't been. I've actually heard good
I
things. So
have
this is
not been.
fascinating. Please go ahead.
I have so much beef with that
I had
museum
a friend that
because
worked there, so I guess maybe that's why I've
Really?
heard good things. They worked
Oh.
they
there.
have an amazing they have an amazing theater,
Yeah.
like truly one of the best theaters, but the exhibits are just artifacts. That's it. Artifacts with some cool lighting. I'm like,
So they could use a little set dressing, a
yeah,
little
you're the
anything.
fucking Academy Museum, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
want to be in the movies. I
I
want
want to
to like.
walk into, whatever movie
I'm
you're
like,
talking
I don't
about.
want to like learn the history of some obscure movie through like plaques and a few like props. I can just go to Universal and walk into one of those shops no one goes into and see that there. Like, I don't need to,
I can go see the
you
screen
know?
used Chucky dolls in the
Yeah,
main
like
store. Yeah.
it's such a missed opportunity for like such an expensive and marquee thing where it just kind of feels empty. It's just kind of like, yeah, I remember the first time going in and I was so excited. I walked out and I was like, this kind of sucked. I was
That's
like,
Yeah.
fascinating.
this just feels like you guys went so conservative museum route, despite
Mm,
being the Academy Museum. So I'll keep it short to
yeah.
not cut anybody else off, but I have some beef with that freaking
Hey,
place.
hey, we got all the time in the world, Toby.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
good.
Spence, sorry.
No, that's a great point. I mean, I think obviously leaping off of Galaxy's Edge, I mean, the Star Cruiser was a huge flop. And that's one where I think that's interesting for me to talk about, as I just talked
Star
about how the
Cruiser,
future is
dude.
like marrying things with themed immersive stuff. But that is like no one wants to be interrupted staying at a hotel
Yeah.
to go do a mission. I also just don't think like
Yeah.
everyone who has any interest in this has seen the Jenny Nicholson video.
Dude, that's what I was
Yeah.
looking up. I was
Which
trying to
is
remember who it
the
was,
most
but yeah.
incredible deep dive on the
She's
piece
so
of
good.
content
Oh
I've
my
ever
god.
seen. Like she's
If
Yeah.
you
definitely one of my
have,
favorite creators. Like whenever she puts something out, even if I'm not interested, I like have to watch it.
isn't it like 4 hours long or
It's
something?
I've seen all of it. It's 4 hours.
I've
Yeah.
Me
seen all
too.
of it
I
too. I've watched
all
it
of it.
all.
Yeah. We all
Yeah.
watched all of it.
How do you turn off? It's like you're like watching this disaster unfold and you're
Yeah.
like, I can't stop. But I think in terms of it wasn't actually that high of quality, but I also think that's just not something anyone wanted. Like a
Yeah.
restaurant experience, a retail, a bar, a museum, whatever, is like at most a day and usually a couple hours. But like
Mm,
a hotel stay is like a multiple day, like you don't really get to turn off. And the rooms were small and whatever. That's not even really my example. I'm just saying the obvious pairing with Galaxy's Edge would be that. Um,
It's crazy how many good hotels Disney has done too that are just perfectly
incredible
themed,
hotels. Yeah.
and you love being in them. I mean, Universal too. Cabana Bay, which is our go-to whenever we go down there in
Mhm.
Florida, is like incredible. You're in the 1960s. I love that place.
Yeah.
But it's not in your face. You walk in, it's well themed. Everything feels. I mean, I was like also
Still
like the price.
functions as a hotel.
Yeah, this was. I don't know. I just no. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. Lane,
That's
Spencer, you got anything else?
I'm trying to think of what like a misuse of it would be.
I have so many, dude.
Yeah, no, that's a great. I haven't. What have I been to
Toby
that's
really.
been
I had to search
poor?
for one. Toby's got
Yeah.
them loaded up though.
No, I mean,
Dude.
I wouldn't have even thought about Star Cruiser until he said Galaxy Edge, and I was like, well, obviously that. I think, yeah, I think that's probably it. I mean,
I've got
I
I can
think,
populate this.
yeah, I used to work at a mini golf course in high school because my brother and his wife, now wife, were like in management there, and I think those tend to get it wrong.
You roasted your brother's company.
Yeah,
He doesn't work there
what the fuck?
anymore, but I think
Like my brother who works at a
Yeah.
golf course.
Yeah, you can definitely make something feel kitschy is all
Yeah.
But
happening.
I love kitsch in a certain environment. I will go to the grave loving Dino Land USA. I
Oh,
will
yeah.
go
That
to the
is such a
grave.
hot take.
Yeah,
Oh my
and I
god.
know everyone hates it. And like I remember getting in an argument with Lain and our other friend Jake, who we did the Disney show with. When we were there, he was like, "It's just a parking lot." I was like, "But it's themed as a parking lot."
So
He's
did you
like, "But
did you
it's not." I was like, "It works because it's supposed to be shitty. That's the point."
did you
Like
like DCA 1.0 then?
I think I would have liked it, ironically. I mean, one of my like, if I had a time machine, I would obviously go back and like stop major world travesties. I'd also ride Superstar Limo if we're being honest. Um, but all that to say, yeah, I think some of those are just like so lame. And like they'll be like glow in the dark monster mini golf, and you walk in and it's like just junk. So I hate stuff like that. That sullies our good name, I guess would be my example.
Yeah,
But the,
yeah, it's
the
a fair
larger
one.
Yeah.
example, Star Cruiser. Lane, please take this
Lane,
away from my
go.
rambling.
Uh, there's a weird offshoot, in my opinion, a weird offshoot. I guess it makes money and people are fans of it. But there's in my opinion, a weird offshoot of haunted houses that are like actively endangering you.
Oh
Oh, I know what you're
God.
talking about. Those are horrible.
Yeah.
Do
What
we
is it called?
know?
Like seven floor, seven
Or
That's
hell,
yeah.
something.
I think
Yeah.
it's like 17th door or
That's
something.
something like that. Yeah.
Now and hey, I got respect for these people. You get in your bag in and doing something unique. I
Sadist,
I
but
can't
sure.
say I would ever be cool with going. I know I have not been to this place, but I've seen a lot of, content about it. I know multiple people who have been to it. Uh and fuck that is really like I don't like I would never it's just, you are, getting strapped down and then tilted into water to feel like you're going to drown.
Yeah, they waterboard you.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
essentially,
So fun. Wow.
they used to, like, I think kill a bug in your hand,
You were gonna
like,
say kill someone. My face, I went, huh? Like, is someone just like signing up? Like, I know
yeah,
Oregon, like assisted suicide
they
is legal.
use
Are they just like driving up to Oregon and
they
killing
used to
someone?
kill
Like,
people, I don't know.
yeah, they
They
used to
so they
sacrifice like Billy. I'm like,
they used
huh?
to, like, put a bug at, like, a
Oh my
I
god.
don't know, a cockroach or something,
Yeah,
like a big
Sure.
bug in your hand and then kill it in your hand.
I'm not into
And
that.
PETA was apparently not cool with that, so I don't think they do that anymore, but
I'm not cool with that, man. Don't ever infringe on living things like that.
yeah,
Zoos are
exact
like, if
and
zoos are
yeah.
accredited by the AZA, we're cool. But don't like kill stuff for fun. If you're ever doing a haunted house, listener, don't kill bugs. It's fucked
Yeah,
up.
don't do that, that's
Okay.
weird.
Yeah,
And it's
single
weird.
listener.
Yeah.
Mom.
Mom. I and, I've heard that there was part where if you make it far enough, you get into a car or a van or something, and
Oh
then you're
Oh yeah,
driving
I've heard
around.
yeah.
about that.
They
Yeah.
they drive you into a shipping container, and then suddenly you're being lowered into some, like, other like, shop where creepy people are messing with cars and stuff, and like just like they're taking you places and making you feel like you're intruding on stuff and feeling unsafe, and that's just
Yeah.
like
No.
not my and that's the thing is like I can't say they necessarily do it bad. I know that was the
That
prompt,
just
but
feels like
like
such a cheap out for themed entertainment, though. It's like, yeah, we're gonna put your life in danger. Oh
Well,
yeah,
boy.
I think the crutch of themed entertainment and the word topic of today's video or audio immersive is a simulation of
Yeah.
something.
yeah, yeah,
I think just getting abused and like
right,
framing it as if it's the ultimate haunted house. We're gonna punch
yeah.
you in the face. You're like,
Well,
oh, well, that's
they'll
not.
like they'll shock you and
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
Yeah,
it's like they literally just
yeah,
hurt you, and it's like, yeah, you're
yeah,
gonna feel scared when you're being hurt. That's like not
yeah.
effective
When I feel
theming.
like,
Like,
it's like the horror movie that opts for an easy jump scare that they know will make people jump with
Yeah.
their popcorn,
Yeah.
it's like
or
what people think Saw is, and not
yeah,
what Saw actually is.
or
It's
like
like
horror
the
movies that insert the horror into the background, like the it's hiding in plain sight
Yeah.
horror, that's scary.
Yes.
And, like, I always think of I think the is it, the first It remake where that, like, creepy lady is standing
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
kid
Yeah.
in the library or something, like, I always think about that shot because it's fucking scary, and I still remember that shot. And so I think that there's stuff like that where I
Yeah.
personally am more scared if you can create an environment and put me in it and build that tension
Yeah,
versus
that's a
just
really
like
good
I'm
point.
gonna shock you now, and and
Enjoy
you know
pain,
yeah.
motherfucker.
And
Yeah.
like I don't know, like and the thing is I can't say that place, and I apologize if we're not saying the name right, but the 17th door, however many doors there are, like I can't say that they don't do it well because they're there every year, so like they must be doing what they want to do
You got it
well,
right.
but
It's the
like
17th door haunt.
okay, there you
I
There's
go.
mean,
enough
I hope
sickos
this
out
is the
there.
right one and we're not just like shitting on
Yeah.
this haunted experience in Orange
Right.
County, but
Yeah, but
um
Yeah, I don't
oh no,
know.
it's in Orange County. That's the one.
It's that one,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. But and hey, props to those people. They're doing whatever it is that they want to do or whatever, and evidently
Yeah,
they're
live your
doing it
life, I
well
guess.
for their ad audience, I guess. But like, it's just not my thing, and I
oh,
feel
it,
like
No,
it
I
does
got you.
it's
appear to
probably
be.
not the thing of most fans of haunted houses and stuff like that. So
No,
that's just
no.
my thing.
That's a good
But yeah,
one.
that's
Yeah. I'm gonna just throw two quick ones out there. The Peterson Museum. It used to be so cool back in the day. And I used to like walk into like time things,
yeah,
like time appropriate scenes for all the cars. Now it's just the cars, and it's like
Yeah.
is it
Apple Store
really?
vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Really?
killed it. It
Dude,
sucks.
the
It
I'm
Apple
gonna
sucks.
Store is the worst thing that has ever happened to like retail
Design.
and
Yeah.
design.
yeah.
Like everyone's like, "Oh, it's sleek and white." It's like, "No, it's
And
boring."
and then I'm gonna call out Universal on the bad side. I'm gonna give him, gonna call out Minion
Are you going to
Mayhem. I'm
talk
gonna
about
call out
Backdraft? Are you going to talk
No,
about
I'm calling
Backdraft?
out I'm
Draft.
calling out Minion Mayhem, I'm calling out VillainCon,
Oh,
Yeah,
simulators or just minions
and
in
well,
general.
no, because you can do a simulator that has some really cool theming,
Sure.
Soarin' in California is like the Epcot one kinda
Yeah.
sucks, but the one in California looks amazing. It's
Well, that's
beautiful
like
to
the
yeah,
walk into.
simplest,
yeah.
most
Us
effective
West Coast
attraction I
boys
think of
know.
all time.
Yeah,
Like,
but like Minion Mayhem, it's so funny. Like the facade is amazing. I love the
yeah,
facade. Like it's the house, and then it's just switchbacks, and then you walk into, and then the room itself is just a 40x theater. It's a joke.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then
Especially the one in Hollywood, you're thinking the whole time about how cool Terminator 2
Terminator
was when it
was
was
Terminator
there.
slap, dude. Uh,
Terminator was
and
sick.
then, dude, what the hell is VillainCon?
that
Yeah,
is like they had
well,
like an idea for tech and it just
Did you
like
do
was
it? Did you
not.
do it?
I actually don't know because we didn't get to go on
I
it
did it.
when we
I
were
did it.
there.
I
Oh,
did it.
Toby did eventually do it.
I did it
Oh,
with
okay.
Allie,
That
with
was
my
the day.
girlfriend.
Yeah, we
Okay.
were
Yeah.
in
We
Florida and I was sleeping in the hotel room while Toby and his girlfriend went on Minion
God.
Blast.
No, no, no. It actually
So
wasn't that. You didn't get in yet. Actually,
Oh,
this
it
was
was
this
oh,
was
okay.
this was the first day because and we got in and we're super jet lagged because we took an
Yeah.
overnight and she's not. I'm a sicko. You're a sicko. You met her. She's a loving person, but she's not a sicko.
Yeah.
And what do I do? I'm
Lovely,
like,
lovely person,
understandable.
but she definitely thought we were insane by the end of that
yeah,
trip.
and so I'm like, hey, we just get here. She's exhausted. I'm like, we're doing VillainCon, and
Let's
my
go on the
God,
moving walkway.
it's so bad. But like
Yeah.
just from a
That's
like this there's no sets dressing really. There's
really.
nothing that makes you feel like you're if at least it felt themed enough, like immersed
Yeah.
enough, I'd give it a pass. And I get it, it's a temporary thing, but like the DreamWorks Theater, for example, over here, which it's funny, they both replaced the same attraction on both coasts. They both replaced Shrek 4D. The DreamWorks Theater, the facade is beautiful. It looks great from the outside. The pre-show, I think, is very well done.
Yeah.
You've got like moving practical set pieces. You
Yeah.
have actual awards. You have that really cool screen, and the show itself, like you're not giving away what it is when you walk in. Like the big reveal, the projection mapping section of it is actually like
It's actually
halfway through the
pretty
show.
neat. Yeah.
It's pretty well done. Like for what it
Yeah.
is, it's the same kind of small, like not big
Yeah.
budget show. And VillainCon, on the other hand, the line is terrible. The line is outside. It's hot. There's not
Yeah.
much to see. The inside looks like a trade show and not a particularly good one. And then
Like,
when you
it's
board,
making fun of trade shows,
but
but,
it's
like,
not a but
it's a
it's not a
trade
good
show.
trade show.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
we've reached the Dino Land argument.
Oh no.
we
Is it
honestly,
good
yeah.
theming if it's themed as something poor, or is it just
Yeah.
bad in general?
My response
Yeah.
to all of that is, "Fuck you for suggesting it."
Ah. And then yeah, you just go on and it's just screens that don't work. And that's the ride.
Well, yeah,
And
I think it flops. I haven't full disclosure, I haven't been on it. I
I'm
don't ever
making well
care
when we're
to.
going this year,
I haven't
I'm
I
making us
haven't been on
spend
it.
money to just go to Universal
No.
Studios Florida only for ET and only
And
for Villain Con Minion
I don't know,
Blast.
dude. I'm holding my breath every time I go there, it's broken, so I don't
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
it breaks a lot. It breaks a lot.
But, like, I've literally never ridden the fucking thing because every time I'm there, it's broken, so I
Ridden
don't
is a strong term for
I've
me.
Yeah,
never
I've
stood
never
on the
stood
thing.
on the thing.
Yeah,
I've never
stand
stood
Uh,
on
on
your
it.
dot, as a Gru would say.
that was pretty good.
I think I stole that from Park Stop podcast. Actually, sorry everyone.
Uh, anyway,
Nice.
okay, so I guess we'll move into our final section of the podcast, which is kind of like just a cool thing that you saw within our industry this week. There is kind of a
Oh.
behemoth this week that happened within our industry.
Oh yeah,
Um, certain certain little place down in Orlando, some epic
Oh.
universe thing. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
if you
yeah.
guys heard of that.
No.
we're
Yeah,
just talking like a piece of news we saw that was cool, like something that just like
yeah, just something
neat.
in the industry or something that caught your eye. I guess just on
Yeah.
the Epic Universe front, obviously, I don't need to, echo everyone else in this space for the past like
Yeah.
year about how cool it is. I will say the one thing that caught my eye, and we were all talking about this, is like those wait times were low,
Yeah, for sure.
really low.
They're still low.
Like they're still low for the, and
Yeah.
I'm afraid from an industry standpoint. I'm like, is it just that people don't want to show up for opening day because they're afraid it's gonna be busy? Is it that they did so many previews, or is the tourism industry so bad that we're all about to get a very nasty reality check in the theme entertainment industry this year and possibly for years to come?
Yeah, I think it's probably a combination of reasons. I think that yes, the soft opening, for lack of a better term, was pretty lengthy and happened a lot sooner than we expected.
It
So
feels
if
like the park has been open for a month.
yeah,
Like
so
Yeah.
like
you
if
know.
But
you're
even then, like you would still not have. I mean,
no,
like
but
nothing was over 20 minutes that wasn't Harry Potter.
yeah, and I mean like it. I think that if you're in and around Orlando and you've wanted to go, you there's probably a decent chance you've already been.
We've been, yeah.
So I think that that might be part of it. I do think that people just aren't spending as much money on travel this year with the, you know, economy and world situation being what it is, not to get into that, but people statistically are spending less on travel right now. So if you are a very local or international, I should say, international destination of a park like Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando, even their locations on the West Coast are somewhat more local.
For sure.
But like if you're an international destination like that, you're probably going to feel that a bit. Especially when it's like statistically there are just fewer people traveling, especially to the US at the moment.
Mhm.
Um, as far as we can tell. And yeah, I think that beyond that, there's probably a little bit of Star Wars land effect where it's like, you know, if people are told for a year that it's going to be crazy busy and wild, then, you know, that will probably cause some people to shy away. I mean, it caused the three of us to shy away. So, you know, I mean, honestly, I could have bared that. It was more just I didn't want to be in Orlando in May, but you know,
That's a fair point.
that's
Yeah, the
just
heat.
my opinion. But
I spend every day trying to convince these two to jump on a red eye flight with me to just go for a day. But
I live in Denver. You saw how I melted in late August there,
yeah,
so
no,
imagine
I'm
May.
It's
like, I've become very Seattle. When I was last in Sacramento, where Lain and I grew up, it was like 85 degrees, and I was like, what is this fresh hell? Like, what?
I was back
oh
there in
man.
last
Seattle
summer and it
turns
was
65, and everyone gets their shorts on. Like, we're going to the lake.
I was back there in July in Sacramento to see
Yeah,
family, and it was like 110 out. I was like,
yeah.
this is bullshit.
Who lives this? Why do people live like this?
They're like, it's
Uh,
pretty hot. I think we'll eat inside today. I was like, why would we have eaten outside? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah. No, I think it's all of those reasons. I also think I've seen this opinion online that I find interesting because I don't know that people understand what this means. But there's a lot
Yeah.
of well, they capped capacity. And I'm
No,
like, okay,
no.
did they cap capacity at 20% of the park? Or did they
Yeah,
cap capacity at like 80, 85?
Yeah.
Because if Universal is not just going to like take it into shorts for the first month at like 20% capacity, like
yeah,
that's
no.
what previews are for.
You're still gonna run like I would buy that they're not selling enough tickets to max out their fire code, but
Yeah, like
but
sure,
at least right now, I'm sure that they
they're not
probably
going
would
to
eventually do that.
immediately push all of the infrastructure to the limit, right?
Right.
But that does
Sure.
not mean that they are intentionally just like cutting down their
I
business. I
I
mean,
would feel comfortable betting that they are selling at least 80% of capacity worth of
yeah,
tickets
I would put
Yeah,
serious
right
money on
now.
that. And for three people that have experience in operations, I specifically worked in operations in the Disney theme parks. I think that would be madness.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening. The Universal does not want Monsters Unchained at 15 minutes, opening
No.
day and the
and
second
it's
day and the
probably
third day.
if I checked right, I think they're closed right now. It's 10.
Yeah,
I checked
Yeah.
yesterday and it was 20, but yeah,
It
it's
yeah.
was,
it's
So
yeah, I
short.
checked earlier today and it was like 10 minutes. I mean Mario was like 45, which is crazy because like our Mario when it opened was like
3, 4 hours. Yeah,
3, 4 hours for like
God.
months.
yeah, months. And so I
Our
think what
Mario.
you're, yeah,
Hashtag not my
our
Mario.
hashtag not my Mario. Even though
Chris
it's, I think
Pratt.
it's
He's
the
so
same
cool.
attraction. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Miyamoto.
Also, can we just talk about Chris Pratt being in 4 different theme parks?
Why is he the theme park actor? I mean, it's just his franchises have all lent themselves to attractions, but
Sure.
But
yeah.
he's in 4 different theme
Oh,
parks.
he is. He is. He is. Put
California
Brendan Fraser in another
Adventure,
one.
Epcot,
Yeah.
Universal Studios Hollywood, and Islands of Adventure. Damn.
Lost
Yep.
Coaster. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in
Wow.
4. He's in 4.
Shit.
And yeah, if
Good for
they
that guy.
where else could he go?
Good for that guy. Still don't like how he talked about that raptor, but you know.
No, yeah, the line for Jurassic World in Hollywood when he goes, "She's curious," talking about Blue.
She's
w- Everyone
curious.
who's in that line is like, I think he wants to fuck that raptor.
You want to talk about a poorly themed immersive thing? That line sucks.
That queue's
Queue is
always been
fucking
bad.
awful.
It's
Like
always been bad.
they literally didn't change anything from the Jurassic Park one, except I think they added the TVs, which
No, the
somehow it
TVs were
didn't.
there. It just
Were
played
they
different
really?
stuff. Yeah.
But like how do you expect people to wait that long when you just giving them a TV? Like, what is this? Six
Lain,
Flags? Like,
there's fans. Come on.
fuck the fans, dude.
And there's informational things on the separators
Yeah.
You
between
don't
certain
love the
switchbacks.
guy? You don't
Hopefully
love
you
the
drank
not Bill
three.
Nye giving you dinosaur
Yeah.
facts?
Oh, he's
Hopefully
so
you drank.
irritating.
Hopefully you chugged three cocktails at Isla New Bar before you walked in there, because it's gonna fucking be a while.
Yeah,
But
geez,
God
that
my
damn.
argument will be it doesn't matter because the attraction is
is
so
so
good.
good. Yeah, it's a great
Even
attraction.
before
Yeah.
it was Jurassic World, that was my favorite ride of all time because
Yeah.
I love dinosaurs. But it's I do. I love dinosaurs. I'll just say it.
That's
Big
such a
I
dino
love
guy.
ridiculous
dinosaurs.
reason.
Big
Because
dino guy.
I like Star Tours because stars.
Stars.
What?
What were we talking
Do you think
about?
there's anybody out there whose favorite ride is Star Tours?
Yeah,
Someone.
mine. Me.
That's a lie. Come on,
It's
Lane.
not mine. No.
Come on, Lane.
It's just a
Come
vomit
on.
machine. Although I do appreciate the C-3PO animatronic. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's a fun one. All
Yeah.
right,
I love
we're
a
talking
good
about
shaking box.
cool things that you saw this week that we want to talk about. I said
Oh
Epic.
yes,
Oh,
and I was saying
shit.
Anything?
Epic's operations it's a combination of all the reasons we listed is what I was just finishing on. But it's not because they capped capacity at 20%
Yeah.
internet people. That's not how that
Yeah,
works.
what?
No. Yeah,
But
they wouldn't. No.
what did I
They're
see
trying to
cool?
they're trying to make their money back. So
Yeah, of course.
I
Of
don't think they're
course.
doing that. But.
What did I see that was cool? In the
Or anything?
besides
Can we
Epic
know?
Universe.
I have one that's not this week, but it's pretty recent. We can also talk about if you don't have anything that comes to mind.
Let's talk about it.
Six Flags closing down Six Flags
Flags
America
America. Yeah, that's interesting.
Really?
in
Where's that one?
that's in Maryland.
New Maryland, yeah.
Maryland.
Oh,
Just not even, like redoing it or selling it off to another theme park. They're just
They're just selling the
scrapping the whole
land.
thing.
Yeah.
they're bulldozing it.
That's what they've
Is
rumored for Cedar Fair with California's Great Adventure for years, has been rumored
Yeah,
to be sold.
is that gonna be the new is Six Flags about to kill off a bunch of theme parks across the
Yes,
US?
I don't
100%.
know. I think you have a lot of, you know, management and whatnot that have come over from Cedar Fair.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot of different ideologies and uh preferences there. So I mean,
Yeah, but
maybe they're
scrapping a
taking a
whole park?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they're taking a look at upkeep cost
Mhm.
versus
Oh, I'm sure
what
it's
they're
that.
making, but it's I if their projections aren't looking good, then and sadly, the truth of the matter is it's all going to come back to money. So if they're like, why would we keep operating this park that I assume only operates like
Seasonally. Yeah.
seasonally because it's Maryland, but
Mhm.
and I mean we have parks here in Denver, Elitch Gardens here in Denver
I gotta go.
operates seasonally,
Most
and
parks in the US do.
The regional
yeah,
parks, yeah.
and so it's tough. I think that for those parks it is harder to turn a profit, whereas like Knott's is like, yeah, we'll make 80% of our revenue or some crazy shit in the month of October, but like it's just it's different for those other parks where they're more local, not as much of a theme park dedicated crowd in that
Mhm.
Mm,
area. um and also they have to deal with operating seasonally, which is tough. And
yeah.
especially in places like Denver, I just think about like all the other places that I haven't been to Elitch Gardens, and I've lived here for over 3 years now. Like I haven't been there because there's so much other shit to do in the summer. Why would like I've been to a theme park before. I don't know. Like it's and
Don't you
when
wanna
I
get your
can
coaster credits in?
yeah, right. But they one thing they do that's cool is doo doo. Uh one one thing they do that's
What?
cool is
I
Hi, I'm Lane. I'm 5 years old.
Hi, I'm Lane. I'm a cup of whiskey in, and this is
I
where
said
everything
doo doo.
goes.
Uh I think I see them sometimes when I'm driving down the highway doing the drone shows, which is pretty cool. They'll make
Those are
like
fun.
if the Broncos win, they'll do a drone show and make like the Broncos Bronco out of it and the logo and stuff like
You
that.
said the Bronco
So
is whore.
Horse.
the
You said the
Broncos
Bronco is
horse.
whore.
I was like the Broncos horse, but that doesn't make sense because it's a Bronco. So the Bronco with
The
the
Bronco,
G,
Bronco.
uh, and so like stuff like that's cool. But it's tough for parks like that to turn a even as
I
much of
guess
a
so.
profit as some of those other ones. Um,
Guess
but
we're about to see. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that what I was kind of saying earlier about the international destination thing is that those parks I think are probably going to get perhaps hit harder than even some of these local experiences because local experiences are built on the local people coming to them.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, if people aren't traveling as much because, the situation has changed and they don't have as much cash in their pocket or whatever, like, then that's they're probably electing to go to their local park versus flying to Orlando, you
Which
Mhm.
will
know?
be interesting for Epic.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But as far as cool stuff I've seen in the last week, I think the most recent kind of thing I heard about was that Titanic exhibit that opened here in Denver. Um, it looked pretty cool. I think that I mean, it's definitely like there's definitely some photo oppiness to it for sure, but like I think that some people go are probably looking for that.
Right.
Um, and pictures sell, as we know. So it seemed like from what my friend was saying was that it is a very educational experience, a lot of facts that they didn't know about previously, some cool memorabilia both from the actual recovery and the film as well, the Cameron film.
Yeah.
So like some cool,
Cool.
menagerie of stuff to look at. But yeah, I mean, I like in my opinion, 40. I think it's like $40 to do that. Don't quote me
Woof.
on that, but like it feels a little heavy. I don't know. It's just I get that everything's expensive these days, but it like $40. Like I could
Dude, those have been around for like how many Titanic shows there been at this point?
So many.
that, but
Yeah.
also like think about what am I gonna spend like an hour and a half there max,
Yeah.
and so that's like $40, 80 if I'm going with my fiance, and
So weird. Yeah, he's
and
getting married.
well, yeah, so weird.
No,
uh,
it's just like yeah, she's your fiance now.
I
That's
know,
gnarly.
isn't that wild?
Anyway, yeah.
And so yeah, but like I think $80 if we went, and again, don't quote me on the price, but I could I could spend like less than half of that and go to the movies and get a meal,
Sure.
like and that's 2 hours, so like I
At
don't know.
least.
There's definitely part of it where it's like I don't know if like the money
Yeah.
technically it feels a little steep, but that's just me. Other than that, it looked like a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Spanish.
I will have one, which we've already talked about, but the Fan Fest, Star Trek. I want more Star Trek presence in theme parks. I love Star Trek. That is my good one. I think that them
It's
creating the
tough because it's
Enterprise D is
Paramount.
sick. Yeah, but Paramount doesn't have parks anymore. They did. The two
Yeah,
great adventure sister parks in Chicago, which I've been to, and also in California, which I've been to, were
yeah.
originally Paramount's Great America. That's why the coasters
Yeah.
were Top Gun.
I think
But
Kings
they sold
Island was also
King's Dominion, King's
Paramount. Kings
Island.
Dominion. Those were also
Was it
Yeah, yeah,
really?
they
those.
were a lot of the
Yeah,
Cedar
they're
Fair
Paramount
ones they
parks.
bought up. Yeah, were
Although
Paramount.
I did just see that they're doing a Top Gun immersive thing at Area 15.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So I guess
Yeah,
they're still licensing their stuff,
Yeah.
just not going
yeah.
But
full
I'm
theme
saying if
park anymore.
Universal wanted to use it more versus just in a pop-up setting, I'm in. Star
Yeah.
Trek is cool. That is my answer. But the reason that Six Flags America sold is because that land is worth more than the park is. That is right
That's
outside of
fair.
DC. That's some of the most expensive real estate in the country. They just
Yeah.
merged with Cedar Fair. They're trying to trim the fat, and that park
Yeah.
has not performed for years.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
Yeah.
that's been the black sheep. So that's why I think is it's just not worth. They can sell it for more to
Watch
some private equity, right? And build lobbyist
watch
homes on it.
Discovery Kingdom will be
Something
next.
that is the one that I hope is next, to be honest with you. That park should have closed eons ago. At
I,
least at
I
least with their animal exhibits. I mean, that stuff is not
Yeah.
great.
or Great
The
America maybe.
California's Great America is closing. I mean, they haven't announced it, but like it has literally been rumored to close for like years. And like San
Yeah.
yeah.
Francisco Bay Area real estate,
Next to the
money, money, money,
stadium.
money. Next to the
Next to
Levi
the stadium.
Stadium,
Literally
Yeah.
sell it to
No,
the
shares a
that
Niners.
one.
parking
They'll
lot,
probably
yeah.
buy it. Like,
Yeah, they'll make a little shopping district where you can go buy overpriced food.
yeah.
It'll
So
be
that's
great.
my
Hey,
warning
I
for
don't know,
you
like
regional theme park heads is the ones in the high real estate markets are gonna go. I think
here's my
that
prediction,
aren't
or
performing.
really more my what I want, my head canon is that they'll tear down Great America and build a Meow Wolf because here in Denver Meow Wolf shares the parking lot with the Broncos Stadium.
That would be rad.
And
Yeah,
Meow
think
Wolf?
about
Yeah.
the Bay Area, Meow Wolf, that shit would sell well.
for sure.
So,
Yeah, they're
I don't
opening
know.
one in LA, so we'll see how that one does first, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious to see what else gets to. I'd love for them to. They'll never do it because of how much money it makes, but just let Knott's be an independent theme park again.
Oh,
What I
no
wouldn't give.
Yeah.
chance.
No.
No, they're not
Right
losing that scary
below,
farm
yeah,
revenue.
right
No, it's
below
their
Cedar
cash
Point,
cow.
and if I was running that company, it's Cedar Point and then it's Knott's. Like those are the
And
two,
Magic
and
Mountain,
Magic
I
Mountain is
guess.
3 probably. It's 2 and 3 are Knott's and Magic
Yeah.
Mountain. But
Yeah.
like if they had a park in
Uh,
Orlando, it would be 4, but they don't. So
yeah. No,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think they're letting go of that
No,
cash
I
cow.
wish though. Some rides are in pretty rough shape over there. I just went
that's
recently
for
Yeah.
for the
sure.
Boysenberry Fest. Okay. Yeah, I think is
I
that our
love
Is that
show?
the
episode
Boysenberry
1 of
Fest.
Fully Immersed? Is that
That is
it?
episode
That
1.
that was episode uno of
Yeah. I don't
Fully
think
Immersed.
we have an Instagram or anything yet, but I guess on the next episode we might be able to drop our handle and see where to follow us at. But I guess just like I don't know how Spotify even works. This is late. What
Spotify.
do
This
we?
is all be up on
Whatever
YouTube as well. So
yeah, whatever you're listening on, Try to give a good 5 stars, five whatever they ask you for. Spotify keeps changing their shit, and that's what I use to listen to my stuff. I know Apple Podcasts has also gotten weird lately with how they'll like every time it updates it like removes your preferences. So just if you like this, make sure that we're favorited in whatever it is you're listening to, and give us a nice little rating. It would definitely help drive us up the charts. We're not, not totally sure why it does that, but that is how their algorithms work. So would greatly appreciate that. As we move along, we're going to develop some more social aspects of our show. So we'll have some social media pages and things like that to post stuff that we're up to besides talking about this stuff. Like I said, we travel quite a bit, and so we do see each other from time to time in real life, doing what we do. And so if we're doing that stuff, we'll make sure to make it known and maybe drop some additional content here and there. So we got a lot of plans for this, and we'll be rolling that out in the coming weeks. And so want to thank everybody for watching, listening, subscribing. This has been the first episode of Fully Immersed, a themed entertainment podcast. Again, I'm Lain Calder, joined here by Spencer Bennett and Tobias Lerman Matante. Guys,
Yeah.
thanks so much.
So
This was
long,
fun.
everyone.
Thank
So
you,
long.
fan. Thank you, fan, for being here. Whoever our like two
Thanks,
listeners
pal.
are. Thanks, friend. Thanks, mom or dad or whoever decides they want to sit through 2 hours of 3 theme park nerds.
Hey, they're there and they're mighty.
All right, guys. Bye bye.